Everybody says they want to fix college football. The coaches want rules, boosters want guardrails, politicians want order, and the schools, they say they want stability. But somehow the second those rules cost somebody a quarterback, a roster advantage, or a path to the college football playoff, suddenly the system's unfair. Tonight, Texas Tech goes on trial. The 2014 college football playoff problem is back on the table, and we ask one simple question. Are these people really trying to save college football or just save their own advantages? It's Hall of Fame Top 12 Plus time. Let's get into it. Good evening, and welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football's Top 12 Plus show. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss a moment of Hall of Fame College Football. Welcome back to the show, everybody. We are now 95 days away from college football. This is week 2 of the Hall of Fame Top 12 Plus College Football show. No major shakeup in the Hall of Fame Top 12 Plus. But this week is not really going to be about movement in the rankings anyway. It's about programs and power brokers trying to control the conversation around college football and the rules that govern it without giving the players that generate all the money any say in the process. We saw more of that over this week, obviously, with the Protect College Football Act being introduced by Senators Ted Cruz and Maria Cantwell. Today, they had a hearing in Washington that included Nick Saban and a lot of other power brokers, Pete Bavacqua from Notre Dame et al. Listen, the rankings, they're not moving much this week, but the sport is, right? The sport is. There's no two ways around it. What we saw in Washington and Lubbock, throughout the country, when it comes to the power structure that is, that governs college football, tells us a lot about who actually wants rules and who wants just rules that are going to benefit them, right? We'll get into that in just a few minutes, but we're going to get back. I'm going to recap what the Hall of Fame Top 12 Plus show is and, what our format's about. We'll talk about a quick little reminder about CFP expansion, just talking about how I feel about it. This is kind of why it shapes the show. Teams outside of the top 16 with the loudest complaints. We're going to put Texas Tech in resume court. We're going to talk about Brendan Sorsby versus the NCAA, Cody Campbell, Nick Saban, and the Protect College Sports Act. And then I have a special guest, Really Flawed, from the Really Flawed Football Show right here on YouTube. Joins me to talk Texas and Texas Tech, Sark controversy, and, what she expects from the Longhorns in this, as always, hyped headed into the regular season. We'll let her talk about the Longhorns and give us her take on what to expect from them. Then I'm going to give you a final verdict just on going back to this hypocrisy that I feel like all this stuff with the College Sports Act, the Protect College Sports Act is. Welcome into the show, everybody. If you're here, why haven't you checked in yet? Check in. Tell us who you are, where you're here. Make sure you hit that like button. and share with your friends so that we can talk all about it. Hey, if you disagree with me, I'm happy to hear it. But we're going to get into it, man. We're definitely going to get into it. Look, first off, let's talk about the top 12 plus. I'll remind you of the teams that were in my top 12 rankings, initial top 12 rankings. Now, obviously, this is not the AP top 25. It's not a brand poll necessarily. It's this is your playoff contender board, more or less, right? We're gonna update this periodically throughout the offseason and obviously from a week to week basis once the regular season starts. The top 12 is obviously reflecting a current CFP format, which is my preferred format. I believe it should be 12 teams, right? I think that you could possibly go up to 16, but that's about it. Otherwise, you just kind of, I believe that you're going to ruin the college football regular season if it gets any bigger, if you go to a 2014 playoff. I'm rooting for Greg Sankey to continue saying no to the 2014 version of this playoff. I don't care how long it stays at 12. If he and Tony Petitti from the Big Ten can't come together on a 16-team format, fine, leave it at 12. But so that's how we're going to rank it. You'll obviously have the first four out as well. They're the next four teams most likely to fight their way into the playoff, at least as far as how I feel about it. And, but they're, just close enough to be in contention, not close enough to really be in. You know what I mean? But we'll talk a little bit about that. Notre Dame stays at 1 because you trust their roster and path. I've got Ohio State, Georgia, and Texas as my championship tier football teams. Miami, Oklahoma, Oregon, and Ole Miss just right below them. Contenders, high upside, possibilities of winning the whole thing, but questions about certain parts of their team and that they have to get answered before we know if they truly are going to be a contender for the Natty. Obviously, after that, you've got the defending champions, Indiana, along with Alabama, BYU, and USC. They're all in the top 12 at the moment, but they got plenty to prove whether or not they're a true contender to win the championship. I would tell you that the last four, I don't really necessarily believe are going to win the championship. I think they have to prove that. But I certainly don't think that there's 12 teams that can win it. I think there might be 7, 8, 9 teams that could. I think that by the time we get through the season or halfway through the season, I think we're going to know that there's probably more like 6 that have a real shot. But I could be wrong. We'll see. And because this is built around playoff conversation, we have to revisit the issue that keeps hanging over the sport, though. How big should this playoff really be? Again, I think that it's a little crazy. 24 teams is a problem. It doesn't fix college football, right? It's not going to fix college football. What's up, Robert Cotton? Chuck? Good to see you guys. It's not going to, a 2014 playoff is not going to fix what is wrong with college football, which is what we were hearing about on Capitol Hill today. It bails out brands. It's going to bail out your teams that aren't, we heard last week, it was hilarious to me that even on the morning show, you had the Penn State sports talk guy. Every time he comes in here, he's got something silly to say, right? Every time, never anything smart. But I think that inadvertently he said something smart in that, as a Penn State fan, in a 12-team playoff, if they lose to Ohio State, Michigan, and Oregon, they're not going to make the playoff. In a 24-team, they would. Well, that's the exact reason I feel like you must keep it at 12 or maybe up to 16 because those regular season games need to matter. They need to matter. And right now they don't. If you don't have to beat any of the good teams on your schedule, and mind you, the Big Ten doesn't exactly play murderer's row all season long. If you don't have to beat any of the good teams on your schedule and you can still get in the playoff because, you're one of the other teams that are pretty good, if it's not about being a real championship contender, then what are we doing? What are we doing? So I think that was the big thing. Speaking of, again, if you needed 24 teams to find a national champion, you're not fixing that playoff. You're more or less turning a regular season into something that has no consequences for the sake of just having more inventory for the playoff, more games in the playoff. Man, I'm I'm a purist. I want the games that you play in October and November to matter. It's that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be as far as I'm concerned. All right, guys, we got 38 people in here. 27 of you guys are watching on X. Make sure you get in here and comment. If you are watching us on X, we appreciate that. Jump over here to the YouTube channel. It's Hall of Fame College Football, HOF College Football, and become a subscriber. Hit that like button. It helps us out tremendously the more likes we get on here. Right now, only 9 people in here. Make sure that you share the stream with your other people that love college football. And listen, I have no problem defending the points that I'm going to make tonight. No problem at all. If you are one of those believers that you should have a 2014 playoff, if you believe that you shouldn't be paying players or that the transfer portal, we'll get into kind of talking about, hey, what's up there, Trojan Fight? Good to see you, man. If you believe that it should be a 2014 playoff, if you think that you should have only one time to transfer, blah, 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 and not be able to not have to give collective bargaining to the athletes that are helping generate all that money in the sport, then tell me why. Tell me why you believe that way, right? But it kind of is what it is. Let's talk about the outside looking in. This would be your let me get this other graphic in here real quick. 1 second. First 4 outs. All right. So right now I have the first 4 out. Obviously at LSU, Michigan, Texas A&M, and SMU. We talked about Texas A&M last week. I kind of put them on trial as to and told you why I don't see them as a true national championship for sure, but I don't even really believe they're going to make the playoff this next season. Tonight, we'll get into kind of talking about some of the teams that aren't even in this first 4 out, because I'm going to have some guests that are going to help me out with some of these other teams. Michigan, I'll have Maze Madman's going to join me here in the next couple of weeks to talk about them a little bit. We may end up with somebody from SMU, but I also think that if you look at the next 4 or 5 teams that would be possibly to jump in that 16, the ones that most people believe are, that caliber of team. You're talking about teams like Washington, teams like Tennessee. I would say, and I think Tennessee is probably just a finding out who their quarterback is away from Josh Heupel kind of, I believe they're going to be fine. I mean, you didn't expect much out of the quarterback that they had last year, and they were the number 1 offense in the SEC. I think they're going to continue to do those kind of things. They've added, significant coaching upgrades, defensive talent. They attacked the things that were wrong with that team last season. Don't be surprised if you see a team like Tennessee in that. Louisville's another one. I know they start off the year with Ole Miss. It's one of the teams that I think a lot of, they've got a solid quarterback situation there as well. They've always, they've had a good coach. One of their, I believe he's one of the best coaches in the country. And, I just think that Louisville is probably going to have something to say in an ACC that's kind of, in my opinion, pretty weak from top to bottom. You've got Miami, and they're super loaded. And then you've got the possibilities of teams like Louisville. I would say SMU, of course, I've got them in there. But I think that them and Louisville will have probably a little bit to say about that. Then I would expect the Washington Huskies, they've got a second-year starting quarterback, a guy that was, highly sought after in the portal, now second year for their head coach, or third year for their head coach coming in. I think that Washington is going to be primed to make a move in the Big Ten. Can they get in that top 3 or 4 and win 10 games? It may be tough to do so, but you wouldn't be that surprised if they did, right? You just wouldn't be that surprised if they did. And then Texas Tech. I know a lot of people believe that Texas Tech is reloaded. They just did their thing. They're reloaded. It's not going to be a problem for the Red Raiders, that Brendan Sorsby may or may not be part of this, may or may not be part of the team whenever it comes around. The NCAA has obviously banned him from ever playing again at this point. There was an injunction hearing this week in Lubbock. We still haven't heard anything back on that from Monday. Now, 2 days later, that concerns me a little bit. I wonder why it would take long for you to come up with, a decision on that. But they have a light schedule, especially early on in the year. Even if they go to Will Hammond and he's not really ready to start the season because of his torn ACL that he sustained last year, I would think that he should be back by like week 3 at the latest is everything that you hear coming out of Lubbock. So I suspect that, and I think that he may be just fine. They're also spending tons of money, tons of money in the portal, in recruiting, which is why I think it's crazy that Cody Campbell was saying some of the things that he was saying today on Twitter and keeping up with the hearing on the Protect College Sports Act. It was kind of crazy. Let's see. They have the loudest case. They have the money, though. They have portal headlines. They have a fan base and donor class acting like the arrival is inevitable. They made it to the playoff this past season. They didn't score any points in the game, and that was against probably the third best team in the Big Ten that a week later got beat worse than Alabama got beat by Indiana in the quarterfinal round themselves. So, there's still plenty to prove for them, but when everybody's quote unquote against Texas Tech, if you're not a Texas Tech Red Raider fan, listen, I think that you're painting Texas Tech fans are painting the bullseye on themselves. Painting the bullseye on themselves, if you ask me, right? What did I think of Saban's comments? We're getting to that. Believe me. I do think those games in October, November will matter just for more teams. The top 6 or so wouldn't matter for those teams, to those teams. Yeah, I don't know. I think, and right now you have a playoff that is exclusive. Everybody's talking about more inclusion, Robert Cotton. But if there's no consequences to some of these games at the end of the year, if all of a sudden Michigan and Ohio State don't matter, the game doesn't matter, or the Iron Bowl doesn't matter, or Texas and Oklahoma doesn't matter, or the cocktail party doesn't matter, or the Holy War doesn't matter, or Farmageddon doesn't matter. Keep on. I mean, we can go through the list here. The Egg Bowl, any of these. If these games don't matter, you're losing part of what makes college football, has always made college football great, right? That's what it's always been. But Tech isn't just outside of my top 16. It's a team acting like it's a team that's already arrived, and I don't understand it. I mean, winning the conference championship last season was the first time they ever did it. They lost a lot of players after that. They put a lot of hey, listen, I'm not saying that they didn't have talent. They did, particularly on the defensive side. They sent talent to the NFL, a lot of it, right? Expecting that you're going to be able to use the portal the way that they did year after year and, sustain the same level from year to year as well of success is a little wild to me. It's just a little wild to me. So I don't know about, I think that it's something that you got to see. It was their first Big 12 championship in the 32 years of the conference's existence. First time they've ever done it. This year, yes, they have a light schedule. They shouldn't have any hard time getting back to a championship game picture. But I still think you got to prove it, and I don't believe that they're one of the top 16 teams in any stretch, right? Now, that takes me on to the resume court. I'm going to put Tech on trial, but before we do that, let me get into some of these and say hello. Dave's here. Colby, Jimmy Satterfield, good to see you, man. S4L Sooners for life, Trojan Fight. Good to see you guys all in here. Chuck as well, and Robert. Appreciate you guys commenting. And again, make sure you hit the like button, and we'll talk all about it. Trojan fight: Texas Tech reportedly in discussion with Notre Dame and USC for a 2027-2028 series. Cool. Good for them. Good for them, because they need a schedule that's worth the shit. Again, if none of these, will those games matter? If we're going to bump this up to a 2014 playoff, it doesn't really matter who you play. You can lose. You don't have to. There's no consequence to losing a game. And there has to be consequences to losing that game. Days here, I don't think much of Tech. If it were as easy as spending money, my team would win more than once every 20 years. Absolutely. Now, obviously, things are different than they used to be. Don't care about the playoffs. Keep it the same. Change it. Don't care. Pretty sure I am on board with the rest. With the rest of what? With the rest of what, Dave? What else? Just hellos right now. All right. So, look, to me, Texas Tech wants to be treated like a real national championship contender. That, you see the posts on Twitter all the time about how they're constantly being, discounted and mistreated, and, nobody's giving them any love or all this stuff, I think it's cute, right? Nobody even cares, really. It's just kind of wild. But I'm going to go ahead. Hold on one second. Before we get into this, I'll come right back. I'm going to bring Really Flawed in. But before we do that, take a listen to this from our sponsors. Are you tired of your game day gear looking like it's stuck in the offseason? Well, step up your fandom with Hall of Fame College Football's official Fanatics partner store. Whether you're a diehard Oklahoma Sooners fan like myself, bleeding Crimson and Cream, or you rep another one of the SEC's heavy hitters, Fanatics has you covered. Shop thousands of officially licensed hats, jerseys, sideline polos, and exclusive championship merch from the entire Power 4 and Group of 6 too, all shipped directly to your doorstep and fast. Want to gear up like your favorite coaches and players? Are you looking for that perfect tailgate tee or a statement piece for your man cave? Fanatics is your one-stop shop for authentic college football gear from everybody that plays the game. So do yourself and your team a favor. Click our link in the description or simply log on to hofmedia.us/fanatics. That's hofmedia.us/fanatics. And you can shop everything that you want for the best prices of the day right on our Fanatics partner page. All right, we're back, and welcome to the show.
Wait,
our favorite Longhorn fan out there, Miss Really Flawed from the Really Flawed Football Channel. Welcome into the show, ma'am. How are you?
Hi, I am so well. How are you?
Doing well. It's
I'm actually lying. I have had an awful day.
Yeah,
but I was like, you know what? Let me adjust this a little bit. I was like, you know what though? I get to talk football, and so I'm like, I need my drug of choice. And I have it. This is it.
Yeah. Listen, and the thing is, I've been pissy all day because I've been listening to all this bullshit from Capitol Hill. All how terrible college football is, that players can move around and they get paid so much, and it's an arms race and all this stuff, and it's from the wrong people. The wrong messenger is saying this shit. Right. And this is my feeling about it. One of those main messengers, I know we'll get into talking a little bit about this when we talk about Texas, but it's Texas Tech. I said I have them I don't have them in my top 16. Obviously, the top 12 plus, I was explaining it to the rest of them. This is my second show of this. These are the top 12 teams I believe are in the playoffs. If we started them today, they're the teams that I believe are the best. It's not going to change a ton during the offseason. It'll change from week to week once we get into the season. You also have your first 4 out. I don't even have Texas Tech in that one. The Brendan Sorsby situation to me means a lot, right?
Okay.
Now, do I think they're going to be in contention to get their way into it? Of course they are.
For sure.
Of course they are. At the moment, I'm going to need to see more. But talking about, kind of where everything is, you're hearing a lot of stuff from Cody Campbell, the mega booster at Tech, all their fans. They've been fighting me and everybody else all week about anything you say bad about Sorsby possibly coming back, which I believe is really the end of a sport as we know it, because it's no longer a sport. It becomes sports entertainment if you can't trust the outcomes because you got gamblers playing the game.
Fair. That's fair. Yeah.
I mean,
and yeah, that whole situation. Is my mic on? I think it's on.
it is. Yeah, you're good.
That whole situation to me also was like pathetic. It's like, I don't want to get political here, but there's certain things that we just shouldn't tolerate. And that should be one of those things. Like it should be like, there should be certain standards in life, where it's like some people it's like women, some people it's disabled people, some people it's old people, some people it's children, whatever your like red line is. We all should at least be able to agree that sports betting should just be, it doesn't matter. Like it should just like that.
Everybody knows that any sports league around the world knows that that's the one thing that you cannot bend on.
Right. And it's like we've lost
Major League
our
Baseball
ability.
didn't make the Hall of Fame because of it. He was banned for life. He's dead and he's still not in the Hall.
And it's like we've lost our ability to be like, wrong is still supposed to be wrong and right is still supposed to be right. It shouldn't matter who your team is, who you're cheering for, what you're going to do. Like you should not be So for me, I just feel like this is gross that people would even defend it. No matter who you are. I don't care where you fit. The fact that you would even defend that, it's almost like, me. Sometimes I'm like, there's certain people I won't even argue with about certain things. I'm not arguing with anybody that agrees that this is okay. Just no one. Like, I don't, nowhere should this be okay. Like, no, it's unacceptable. It's just unacceptable.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And again, I mean, there's one thing that is, it's a red line guarantee. This is how it is in every professional and amateur sports around. If you can't trust it, and I said something, I was saying this all over the last couple of weeks, as bad as officiating is, and there's already a lot of people that believe that you can't believe in the outcomes or whether or not it's real, and bad calls are happening. You can't afford to have a bunch of things, you can't afford that every time a quarterback throws an interception or they lose a game, that it's going to be because maybe did he get paid for that? What's going on? I mean, did he have a bet on the under? They didn't win by enough over somebody. I mean, it's going to be constant. I mean, and they wouldn't even put them on the board to be bet on, I would think. But
think about what you're saying. So that means if Sorsby comes back and plays for Texas Tech, that means you can't even place a bet on them. I don't think they would do that.
Senator Ted Cruz is trying to fix the problem. I'm not sure if he gets that done, but believe me, we'll get into this in a second. Please, let me get into this in a second. Tech has a little bit of money, and now they want to get away with some bullshit. Tech used to be respectable. Listen, and I'm thinking, to me, it's what's surprising to me. Look, I don't think much of them as a overall contender. That's one thing. That's an opinion. It doesn't matter what I think. They can go out there and prove me wrong.
Yeah.
When you do stuff like this and you're throwing all the weight that they're throwing behind this legal battle. I mean, even you have the Speaker of the House in Texas is part of his legal team. Wow. I mean, mind you that they were a big part of why when the NCAA was going to allow athletes to bet on like professional sports that they didn't play, they were a big part of saying, hell no, you can't do it. Big part of that.
I don't get it.
Is in danger, and they don't want, and they're switching. They're switching up.
Yeah, that's why for me, I'm like, there used to be things in life that we used to hold. We used to stand on things as people, And now it's just like, if it benefits me or my side or whatever, right? Because that's what this is all about. Everybody has to win. You have to be on a side that's winning. And it's like, oh, well, who do you like in this battle, them or them? And it's like, does it matter? Like, we've lost the plot. I mean, we've lost the plot. And if this is even a thing, we lost the plot more than I thought we did. Like, because to me, this is a no-brainer. And let me just say this. I do agree that Sorsby should have to be able to defend himself, and he should, like, that's cool. That's cool. Do all of that, but I don't feel like
everything, all that.
I feel like you should be able to defend yourself, and within like 30 minutes, we're like, all right, this is the decision. Like, because that is how far this is kind of like, no. So yeah, I don't know. And if we're depending on Ted Cruz to do anything, like, we're in trouble. We have a bigger issue.
Yeah, let's and we can turn to that. And this is where, they have momentum, they have money as far as Tech's concerned, right? Mm-hmm. But money doesn't equal championship credibility. I think they proved that with not scoring a single point in their playoff game, which they get a bye into the playoff last year, not having played, anybody of real significance other than BYU. I would say.
And were they really? I mean,
I think BYU was pretty good. I think BYU
Oklahoma would have ran through BYU, and you guys couldn't even run the football. Like, come on.
I agree. I'm not saying that they're on the level. I don't think any of them are on the level of
okay. I thought you were like, okay.
Right?
Okay. I was like, wait a minute.
Okay. And I mean, if you look at Oregon, they're the number 3 team last year in the Big Ten. The next week they got beat 56 to 22 or something like that. Yeah. They got beat worse than Alabama got beat by Indiana.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, it's a bad it was not a good look for Texas Tech. Now, obviously that was the move that they made was thinking Sorsby was going to be a big deal. They paid $5 million. Yeah, that sucks. I'm not saying it doesn't suck for you. I'm not saying any of that doesn't suck. At the end of the day, you should have done a better job of finding out what the hell was going on with this kid. Do a better job.
And we're not responsible because you didn't do what you're supposed to do. That's where it pisses me off. It's like, how are we being like, that is your job. Like, and to be honest, it's the same if you go get like a high school student, you go get a high school guy, he's a 5-star and he ends up not playing well. Do they get to go to court and say, hey, we need a scholarship back? Because no, like, you just deal with it. You made a decision. It wasn't the right decision. And now you deal with it. Do we not do that in life anymore? Like,
on top of that, I mean, it's not like you have to play the type of schedule that anybody in the, I mean, what Sark said, I mean, we can get into talking a little bit about that. What Sark was talking about when it was in Houston, talking about there was a team in Texas in another conference that Texas's 2s and 3s could go undefeated against their schedule. Now, he wasn't saying that Texas Tech sucked. He was saying their schedule sucked. And he wasn't wrong. They don't even have to play the best teams in the Big 12. No K-State, no BYU, no Utah. I mean, not that I believe in Utah. Now that Witt's out of there, I don't. But they're not playing any of the teams that I perceive to be a contender. I think that they play Houston. That's the only one that they play that I consider to be a contender.
What about Colorado, Rude?
Yeah, they suck. Sorry. until otherwise proven.
Rude.
Sorry. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean,
I'm just giving you a hard time.
I don't have a problem with Coach Prime.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
That being said, they were bad.
Yeah. No.
So
we got
to see better out of them, right?
Coach Sark. It's funny. Like, if you didn't know any better, and if you watch my content, you would think that him and I are literally on the phone, and we literally have these conversations. Because I have been a huge proponent of this for years. I've been pounding the table. I'm like, strength of schedule. The reason why I evaluate talent the way I do that goes to the NFL. What do I say? They didn't play anybody. No, this is no disrespect to Jacob Rodriguez, but of course he broke all those records. Almost every single team that they played, who had a winning record, minus BYU at the end of the season. Like, it's like
they played Utah and BYU were the best teams that they played. They lost to Arizona State, which wasn't very good.
Like, you guys played what? So what is that? 2 teams, 3 teams that had winning records? Like, give me a break already. And the other thing is too, is I think we need to learn how to listen to what people are actually saying and stop assuming what people are saying. Like, everyone's like, Coach Sark said he could beat Texas Tech. That's literally not what he said. That's not what he said. He said, he basically was saying their schedule is weak. They don't play anybody, and it goes back to the strength of schedule conversation. I agree with him, A. I also, B, think that if we look at lovely Alabama's schedule last year too, and if we look at Texas A&M's schedule last year too, we could be saying the same thing, but since they're in the SEC, we're giving them a break. But they played the worst teams in the SEC.
I've been saying it about A&M.
So my point is, and that's why I think he's making a general strength of schedule statement, because it's across the board. And what he's doing is setting up a bigger conversation that we weren't having. And now what are we, a week later? Now Texas Tech is looking for somebody to put on their schedule. And now Texas Tech wants to play Texas. No, the hell you don't. Like, stop. Like, just stop. Like, you don't want to play. Like, and I'm not even one of these people. You know me. I am not one of these people.
Out there knowing that there's no way that Texas accepts that, because it does Texas no good. I said this earlier. I said this on Monday. Texas can't accept the game. It does them zero good to play it. Nope. They've got Ohio State the next week. They have an actual schedule. In fact,
arguably one of the hardest schedules in college football next season.
I think it's the toughest schedule in college football.
Yeah, and you want us to add for what? Why don't you go add somebody of value? Why don't you go reach out to Miami? You and Miami, y'all should actually play each other. But we play, well, Notre Dame probably won't play them because Notre Dame's going to play us. Well, we play Notre Dame not next season, the season after, because I think next year we play Michigan in Austin, and then it's like Notre Dame home and away or whatever. So, but my point is like, I just feel like this is going to come off so rude, but I don't even care at this point. We have so many teams that are playing below average, mediocre schedules at best, teams in the ACC and Big 10 or Big 12. I'm talking to you. I am talking to you. You're getting in the college football playoffs because your schedules allow you to, because the committee only cares about wins and losses. That's all they care about. Coach Sark is saying that's fine. It's not fine, but if y'all are going to do that, I'm going to blow the whistle on all this. Let's talk about strength of schedule. Who did they play? Who did that team play? Who did that team play? And that's what we need to be doing, is having a different conversation, because it's like, it's ridiculous.
I think that's what Sark was saying. Now, I also would tell you that because of the fact that Texas went into, I mean, we'll get more into this in a little bit, but I think because of the fact that Texas went into the season last year hyped as the number 1 team in the country. Arch was supposed to win the Heisman. They were supposed to win the Natty. They fall out of the top 25 before really playing very well down the stretch, but losing 3 games, missing the playoff against a schedule that certainly wasn't as tough as the one they're about to play.
Facts.
Right? I think that there's a lot of talk, and I've been one of the ones saying it. There's kind of a little built-in excuse for, hey, if we don't make the playoff, here's why. Right?
Exactly. That's why you talk. Exactly.
Right. Exactly. And I don't think he's necessarily wrong to say that, but I'm saying, he's kind of tempering expectations down a little bit because of the fact that, hey, we got a tougher schedule than we had last year. We didn't make it in then. Yes, is Arch better? Yes, did we go and add serious talent there? Sure. But maybe we don't get it done. I think expecting a natty is tough. But I do think that there's certainly going to be, I would say there's certainly a lot to that he was definitely, building in an excuse.
He's also given a storyline, right? Like now, if you are thinking about like Texas and somebody else, like at least if you throw Texas in there, you're like, oh, they were talking big shit, like this is a perfect team to kind of plop in there. And I tweeted, I think today or yesterday, I don't even know, all the days run together sometimes. I was like, thank you, cross check off Texas Tech, because they'll probably be in the playoffs. If something will happen, they'll probably be there. Cool. Now let's go target somebody else. Now let's go pick on Notre Dame. Like, go target schools that are going to be in the playoffs, because Notre Dame's schedule is a joke also. Their schedule is a joke. And nobody heard him mention Notre Dame in the same statement. They only heard him say Texas Tech and our 2s and 3s. But I'm like, did we miss the comment when he was talking about Notre Dame? Did we just skip over when he said Notre Dame just gets to be in the playoffs, like nobody even heard it. It's like he was shooting at everybody. Everybody could get it. It wasn't just Texas Tech. But it's like, again, and he should, because it's a joke. It's just a joke.
No, and I would tell you that I understand it. I get it. And it's the same reason that you're hearing Greg Sankey upset about, and the coaches, apparently, from what we understand, all the coaches are a little pissed off, and some of the ADs and presidents, that they went to a 9-game SEC schedule already before they went to a 16-team playoff, because I think that they believed that it wasn't the right thing to do. You're already playing a lot of good Power 4 teams outside of your conference schedule. An 8-game one probably was going to be enough for the SEC. Right. That being said, you're here now. There's no reason to keep complaining about it. But what you're hearing Sankey say is that it has to be about more than wins and losses. We're going to beat each other up. This league is going to beat each other up. And that's why he made the whole comment about this is the best conference from top to bottom. And he made sure to say top to bottom. Not everybody's talking about that. I'm not one of the people that is going to sit here and tell you that it's better than the Big Ten at the top, because it isn't.
No,
the Big Ten at the top has won 3 straight national titles. You got to give them their love for that. When you get past the first 5 or so, 6 teams, it ain't the same.
Hold on. I just need to make sure Texas won game 1. Sorry. They just won. Sorry. I'm like, I want you to know I'm definitely listening to you. Okay, no, it is 7-3 game over. Okay, cool. I just needed to make sure. So,
one game. So Texas Tech, again, they're spending lots of money. Now, this is something that I found is odd, again, about Texas Tech was, here's Cody Campbell saying the things that he said today, and the tweet that I have here is priceless. Right. He's talking about Pete Bavacqua. Let me pull it up here. Shoot. 1 second.
I think the other thing is too is like, it frustrates me. Okay, well, let's do this. Great point made by
Notre Dame AD Pete Bavacqua in the Senate College Sports hearing today. Constant player movement through the portal is a real threat to athlete safety and welfare.
Break.
Consistent access to the same trainers, doctors, strength coaches, and physical development is the key in effectively treating, preventing, and rehabbing injuries. Okay, so again, Texas Tech is the big spender right now. They're announcing their presence in college football and as a contender because of the fact that Cody Campbell, they're out not talking about softball. They went out and actively tampered during the Women's College World Series a year ago to get players from Tennessee, Florida,
everywhere,
Oklahoma, Texas, everywhere. And we're talking about transfer portal and stuff like that, and here you are, not saying anything about the fact that he's pushing for this legislation to go through, because it also helps him to pull facts, to be able to push for pooling resources and the media rights. And those media rights value has been built up by the SEC and the Big Ten, and the Big 12 and Cody Campbell want to be able to jump in there and say, we get the big chunk along with you. So it's completely disingenuous about that tweet. Was completely disingenuous in so many ways.
What is the SEC's commissioner? What's his name?
Greg Sankey.
Sankey. I'm going to say this, and I don't think I've ever said this publicly. He has failed at his job. He failed because under 0 circumstances should he have went to 9 games until the college football playoffs was changed. There is under 0 circumstances. Okay. I'm not talking about maybe the 1%, under 0 circumstances, because you hold your ground, you protect your league. He failed. He didn't protect the league. And so because you failed, Now you're angry, and now you're this, and now you're that. This is your fault, first of all. So like we need to place blame where the blame needs to be placed. It is squarely on him for going to 9 games. That was a fail. Cool. So now that's done. So the only way he can course correct that is he needs to take a stand in this instance. And it has to be loud, and it has to be annoying, and it has to be all the things, because you've already failed at one thing. And my thing is too, is Nick Saban, like, I get it. I'm going to criticize Nick Saban now. I'm never going to criticize Nick Saban, the coach, ever. Like, ever. Okay, let's just establish the baseline that Nick Saban, the coach, is never getting criticism from
Thank you. I'm glad you said that, because he's next on my list. He's next on my list. But it isn't about his coach.
Correct. No. A plus, go, whatever you want to, whatever label.
Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that.
Let me just call it out. However, what he is doing right now is disrespectful. It is rude. Shame on him, because the amount of manipulation he is spewing and talking about, first of all, you ran from college football because you couldn't control it. Your problem is you lost control. And if we go back to when all of these things were passing, all of you people that are now whining and bitching like little girls were part of the reason why things are the way they are today. It is your fault, Nick Saban. You started this crap. You're the one that started paying people. You're the one that started this track. You're the one that started this. Everybody else caught up to you.
It smacks his sour grapes. He wasn't quite ready to get out, but he was definitely not okay with and he still isn't okay. Correct. With where college sports are.
Correct.
What he said today, and here's what he had to say today. Come on, this was so crazy to me too.
It's his fault.
Talking about it being an arms race, that it's just because it's becoming an arms race now. Hey, listen, bud, it's been an arms race forever. It was an arms race that you were winning easily because you were the one that was able to sell those players on what you were doing. You were able to separate yourself from the arm that was passing those bags of cash better than the rest. And I'm not saying you're the only one doing it, because listen,
nobody is.
Make no mistake, everybody from Bama to Texas Tech was still paying players, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get it twisted. That's not what I'm saying.
Wolf.
Yeah, because we all know, and that's what I think is another thing that's completely disingenuous about a lot of these. Well, now we get to spend the money. You were spending it before. You just weren't doing it as well.
Yep.
And what he did was do it well. And he also had the benefit of there was no transfer portal. You weren't, and he was able to make the SEC adopt rules that if you transferred from Alabama, not only would you have to sit out a year, but you couldn't transfer to another SEC school. And that used to be a thing.
Yeah. And I think that's I think that should happen. I always say this, like, you don't get to like not be in a relationship and tell me how to run my relationship, right? You don't get to like have kids and tell me how to be single. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't get to tell, like, Nick Saban, you're not coaching anymore. It's over, bro. You checked out. So why do you think you get to double back and let us know what you think and feel? It's over. That football is over. And I'm sick and tired of people trying to go back to what it was. Now it's something new. So now we have to make new things and new rules. You're crying over spilled milk. It's over. It's done. You were responsible for creating the system that exists today, Nick Saban. Right. So stop whining and complaining about what it is now. You made it this way. What I want to see is what are some things that you think are going to fix it? But don't fix it because you want to go back to what it was. Fix the new system.
Here's the problems with the legislation too. So let's do that. Let's talk about that a little bit. You can't have meaningful legislation or fix to college football that doesn't include collective bargaining for these athletes.
That's true.
Not especially if you're trying to say that they can only transfer once now.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's an exception that their coach leaves or whatever, they can only transfer once. You can't do that. And the athletes are the ones generating all this big money, right? You're not saying that a coach can't leave any time. They can't leave. Lane Kiffin left. He's going to leave again at some point. He could do it this year if he wanted to. It wouldn't matter.
Right.
It wouldn't matter.
And that's the system. Right. And that's my whole point. Like, y'all created the system. I always say this,
Right.
this irks me like no other. Y'all created the system. The players are doing what they see their coaches and their leaders doing. Lane Kiffin's
What they're
team
allowed to
was
do.
in the
It's in the
college.
rules
Exactly.
of-
His team was in the college football playoffs, and he was like, "No, I'm good. I'm out." If I was Lane Kiffin, what I would have left, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? He decided to leave. It's his right to leave. He didn't do anything wrong by leaving. But what you're doing is you're setting precedents. And don't be mad when other people are doing what you do.
Probably made more money as a public employee than anybody in history, right? I mean, the money he made as a public employee at the University of Alabama, and before that LSU and then Michigan State, but obviously LSU and Bama. And I mean, it's turned into millions and millions of dollars. He was making $12 million plus a year whenever he retired. Right. Now he's making triple that or more at ESPN. So what he did off of doing things the way he did, I don't know why he's still bitching. But
because
sit there and say that this is it shouldn't be. This is an arms race and you're ruining the rest of it. He didn't give a shit about baseball or Olympic sports or women's sports or anything like that at Alabama.
True. I mean, that's true.
He didn't care.
Because I need to, this is your show. There's a part of certain type of men in high positions that feel the need to have they did this because of me. I have so much power. I'm so important. I'm in such control. I am
especially college coaches, especially college football coaches have egos that are bigger than the stadiums they're in.
And I still have this pool. This is still me. Like, I am gone. I'm retired. Like, I'm out. But this is still me. Every time I hear Nick Saban talk, in my mind, I want to be like, well, I wish Derrick Henry would come out and say how much money they gave him. Oh, I wish Devontae Adams would come out and say how much money they gave him. I wish do we need to go down the list? Like, you're acting like it didn't happen.
They were all making money. I mean, the thing is,
like, what
you said earlier, I mean, at the end of the day, he coached them up and he was able to recruit them.
He was a great coach.
Recruited them well. I mean, obviously.
I will never. And can I just say this? I don't even blame him.
I just think it's disingenuous to do this
Very
now.
Disingenuous. Very disingenuous.
I just feel like because it's not the way it was when you were there. And he loves to talk about creating value for his players, helping them create value for themselves. I don't even disagree with all that. But at the end of the day, he was able to run that with an iron fist for a large amount of time.
And he was great for it.
2020, when NIL became a thing and the portal became a thing, they weren't as good.
Yeah.
They weren't as good.
And if you ask me who the best college football coach has ever coached college football, you know what I'm going to say? Nick Saban. Like, so, and that's what I always say to people. It's like, we are humans, like, I'm going to kind of make a joke, but you'll go with me here. It's like you and I, right? Like, we're supposed to be on opposite sides of the spectrum. You and I could talk about anything, but when our teams are playing each other, It doesn't mean I think of you less. It doesn't mean anything, right? It's just like a mutual respect of somebody could be perfect 95% of the time. You could love them 95% of the time. There's a 5% though, that you're like, nope, I'm not doing that. Like, that's our team. Right. Exactly. Yeah. And that's what we're talking about here with Nick Saban, right? I can, everything that he did, whatever, I can love all of that. And then when you do something wrong, I can also call you out as a hypocrite because I want somebody to call me out. Like, if I ever make a video and I'm like, yeah, the ACC is the best division in college football, I expect you to reach out to me and be like, girl, what? What are you thinking? Like, who told you that? Like, how much are you getting paid to say that? Like, we have to stop, like, not holding people accountable. Like, this is unacceptable. It doesn't matter what your name is. It's unacceptable. So I just can't believe that, like, people are like, yeah, but it's Nick Saban, you can't talk. Yes, you can, because we hold people accountable. I think less.
My guy Kobe, I love it.
Yeah. So Anyways, that's why I'm just kind of like, you guys.
Lily and I don't talk as much during rivalry week either.
We know. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna say that. Well, because at this point, it's like I try not to come around, and then everybody tries to like get me and Jason on shows together so we can like go at it and argue and talk about our teams and I'm like, first of all, you guys, I don't even argue like in real life. Like I'm not gonna be arguing about a team.
No, you don't.
Like, I'm just not. I enjoy football.
Our relationship as friends and all that stuff, and even during rivalry week, it weirds me out a lot. I can't get any rise out of you by saying anything, and it's just like I'm just like, what is this? I've told you that before plenty of times.
Yeah, I always tell people though, this is gonna sound weird, but I'm mentally invested. I'm not emotionally invested, and I think that's
this from the S4L here.
So let me
Nick Saban trying to fix NIL and portal issues, being a hypocrite. Somebody break it down for me. Okay, let us do that. Let us do that. Here's why. Because that's the reason he left, was because of the NIL, and because he acts like he's all totally cool with everybody getting paid, which he should be, because he was paying them too. What he doesn't like is that everybody, now it's out in the open and people can openly outbid you and get away with it, right? Same shit we're hearing from Dabo, whining and complaining about people tampering with his players. He's another guy that didn't want to evolve. Saban was smart enough to leave whenever he knew that it was no longer tenable for him to do things the way that had always enriched him and won. It allowed him to be the best. Look, the way he coaches them, you got to say that he is that guy, right? The attention to detail, all the way down to the number of steps from the bus to the locker room at these stadiums is well known.
Coaching tree.
It's unbelievably good, right? So the way that he did things and the way that he coached them up is one thing, but you cannot deny that he was afforded a competitive advantage that nobody else had. And once that competitive advantage was somewhat stripped away from him, he smartly got out of it. Same with Clemson. Clemson was the only program for 5 years that was giving them 5 or 6 years that was giving them any kind of trouble, any whatsoever. They beat them twice in the national championship game. Georgia, they kept beating Georgia. That you have that year for LSU and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it was Bama and Clemson, and they were number 1 and number 2. Don't you guys remember? Go back to the Josh Pate early years of Josh Pate, where he was talking about it's Clemson and Bama every year. It's gonna be, because they are this far above everybody else. Well, this did at least somewhat level the playing field against a number of teams. It's not, it's not all the way down into the Big 12 and the ACC by and large, but the programs that have always been able to get there to a point are still, now they're back into the picture, right? Yeah. It's not just Georgia. It's not just Bama. It's not just Oklahoma. It's not just Texas. There's other teams, as you saw with Indiana, Michigan. I mean, they've got plenty of money to do it. They were getting caught doing some of that stuff. You got to commend Nick Saban for being able to separate himself from the bagmen and get away with the shit. But at the end of the day, he was still doing that. And what he doesn't like is the fact that it changed on him when he felt like he still had time to go to where he could have won some more championships. And listen, that's every coach. They are addicted to the shit. And he loved being on that throne. So now his complaint is that it made me leave early.
And I also don't feel like
an arms race.
I don't like when somebody that's not in the game tries to tell me how to run a game. You're not invested. And I would rather hear, give me a current head coach that's up there, because my other issue is you have Nick Saban, who's the speaker on behalf of everyone. And I have heard different coaches do different interviews where they have great ideas and suggestions for fixing that I actually like more than Nick Saban's. Why is Nick Saban, he's not a coach. He doesn't have a team. Like, so how is this impacting him in any way, shape, or form? Legitimately, like, you are who you are. That's not changing. I would rather hear give me Ryan Day up there. Give me Mario Cristobal. Give me Dabo Sweeney. Give me Coach Sark. Give me Brent Venerable. Like, give me coaches that are in this right now, because I want to hear them. To me, they are the ones that are impacted. They didn't quit. They stayed it out. I want to hear from them. The fact that Nick Saban is even there, to me, is kind of like, why? Who made him the sports? Like, why is he the spokesperson? He's not even coaching. He quit. He literally quit because of this. And I'm gonna say it even harsher. If this was a playing field and you were on a team and Nick Saban's your coach and you walked off his team and you're quit, you don't get to have a say. You don't get to have a say to come back in that locker room. So why does Nick Saban get a say? He quit. He quit on this process. Give me current coaches.
Again, him retiring from the sport, everybody's giving him his flowers. They continue to give his flowers every fucking week on game day.
Every week.
Every time he goes to Washington and whines and complains, everybody's giving him his flowers and talking about he should either be a congressperson. Kalen DeBoer said today he should be in politics.
And again, so
it's like $30 million to be on game day now.
And where are all the shut up and dribble people that he's doing a political thing on the Hill? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, give me current college coaches that are in the trenches. Let me hear their opinions, their thoughts, their fixes, their solutions. You want to know why I say that too? Because that also holds them accountable to something. And so for me, if you say, like, let's say
that have so much that are
give them that skin.
Yeah, maybe coaches aren't the people that need to be talking to Congress.
I think they do, because there's some things I heard and read today. I was like, is that even accurate? Like, even when Ted Cruz was talking, I was like, do you even know what you're talking about?
Ted Cruz,
like, I don't think that's what I'm saying. Like, some of these like, my point is, we always have the wrong people in the fight. Like, we have Nick Saban, who, by the way, who's the last person Nick Saban recruited? I don't know who it was. What's the last NIL conversation Nick Saban has had? I don't know and what was that conversation like?
He wasn't pushed out.
But my point is like, these coaches are literally having these conversations every single day, every single week. They're GMs. Like, there's better people.
They also have lots to gain and lots to lose in view of how things are. So, and they like to have their cake and eat it too. I talk about all the time. The transfer portal stuff is one of the things that pisses me off the most. And you've already, first of all, I love it how nobody pays any attention, Ted Cruz, all these, everybody included, to the fact that there's been multiple federal judges that have said you cannot limit their ability to make NIL money or money off their name, image, and likeness. Correct. And that includes allowing them to move freely from school to school without collective bargaining, because that limits their ability to make NIL if they're playing more somewhere else or if they're getting paid more somewhere else. You can't limit that. Nobody talks about that, right? Nope. Nobody talks about it. So they're trying to push this through along with antitrust protection so that players have no recourse for any of the rules, BS or otherwise, that they come up with, and also don't have any vote in whether or not that rule becomes a thing.
Yep, I agree. And they would rather slob on Nick Saban because they don't then learn what is actually going on. Like, that's why for me, I'm just like, you guys, yeah.
Ted Cruz is talking. You can assume it's about something he doesn't understand.
Exactly. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think he just wanted to slob on Nick Saban. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, what is that even? What are you talking about? What are you saying, bro?
Well, look at the SEC and the Big Ten have immediately come out. They came out before this meeting ever happened, and said, as it stands, there are parts of the legislation we like, but as it stands, screw you. We're not giving up our ability that was given to us in 1984 by the Supreme Court to do our own media rights deals with our conference and our schools in the conference. Why the hell would we give away the value that we've built up in our leagues to somebody else freely. And that's what, and now there's a voting part of it or whatever. But none of this, again, even the SEC and the Big Ten are on board. I'm going to tell you now, this bill, for all the shit everybody was saying today, it was all just a bunch of this, because it's not going to happen as it is.
Well, I just think it's funny how many people talk about like Congress and this and that, and now all of a sudden they want Congress to save them. That's why I'm like, y'all are all full of BS. I don't know.
They wanted Congress to save them until they came up with this shit.
Yeah, that's why. And at the end of the day, in my opinion, we never address the actual problems. We still won't address, because I also feel like this fight it's a different fight for probably the teams on this list. Plus, let's just give 8 schools. Let's add the other 8. F it. Let's add 25 schools to the list, right? 25 schools really care because they have a chance to win a championship. The other, 100 and whatever, it's kind of like, what are they? I mean, I don't know. The way this goes, I'm just like, you guys are first of all, you guys are so full of crap. Second of all, by the way that you're talking, I can hear that you don't know anything about anything. That's so disappointing. And shame on you for even talking. If you don't know, if you have nothing to say, stop talking. The mediocrity of some of these people, I'm just like,
yeah. Well, Maria Cantwell was the same. She was, their big concern is whether the SEC and Big Ten break off. You kept hearing that. They're threatening that because they don't want to share their media deals.
If I was the Big Ten and the SEC, I would be meeting right now, and I would be coming up with plans on how to exit. Doesn't mean you got to do it. Doesn't mean you got to do it.
Well, I think they are coming up with an ideas.
Yeah, but I would start leaking it. Leaked proposal. SEC. This is what the SEC Big Ten could look like. Leaked proposal. This is what it could look like in football, but for other sport. You know what I'm saying? Like just get in there. Just get in there and start. You know what I mean? Just start manipulating the messaging, because these people, I am just over them. We have a bunch of idiots that can't even run a country that are trying to figure out how to fix college football. I'm sorry. That's just
that super booster wouldn't have spent that money at Indiana in the past, or at least not on football, because of it being against the rules and him not being able to profit off of what he's doing with it. Mark Cuban is an investor. Mm-hmm. He's not just a booster. And the same is true about Cody Campbell, by the way. All people talk about Cody Campbell is just throwing this money away on Texas Tech like he's just giving it all away. No, he isn't. He's built a money-making entity that is now self-serving to continue doing what they're doing. I think he's smart for how he set that up. I'm not saying he's not. What I'm saying is all this bullshit talk about the portal and NIL that being legalized is what's allowing more teams. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that G6 schools are now contenders to win the Natty. I'm not going to think Texas Tech really is. Maybe, but we're going to have to see it. We're going to have to see it. But the current structure is, there used to be about 2 teams a year that could win it.
That's fair.
There's now probably 7, 8, 9.
Theoretically, I don't know if I'd go 9.
I don't think it's 12 for sure, but I don't think that it's 4 either.
No, right? That's fair.
I think that there's more parity with these rosters than you've seen in a very, very long time.
So I'm going to push back on that, because I don't think, on the one end, I don't know if I think parity is the same, because I don't think so. I think I guess my question is, if you had a bracket and you put these 12 teams, if these were the 12 teams, right? You put these 12 teams in, and this is who was in the conference, right? This is who you play. So at some point, everybody plays each other at some point. Okay. Let's just live in the fantasy world where these teams are good teams. So everybody is going to play everybody in this. Would you think anybody would dominate that? Probably not. But do you think some teams would you rearrange this list if you said, hey, this is the whatever conference you want to call this, like this is the whatever? Would you still like, would you immediately drop somebody to the bottom because you're like, well, I don't know if they could hang there? Like, would this list look different if these 12 teams were in a conference?
What do you mean? Would it look different?
Would you rank them this way? Would you say that Notre Dame like would win this conference if this was a conference? Because this is 12 teams.
Oh, I think it'd be tough. I mean, I think that they would contend for it, but I think that, if you have these 12 teams in a conference, I mean, you could flip who wins it. I mean, that okay. 12, it just depends on the year, because right. I think if you're looking at this 12, these 12 teams right here are the teams that have the rosters
correct
to win the whole thing.
But that's it, I think. Like, I think parity to me means that everybody has this false sense of like, now everybody has a chance. Everybody does not have a chance. Like, right. No, there's still only about
roster. You could also add to it that a lot of what Indiana won with, it wasn't just money. I agree that Cignetti's fantastic coach. He's forward thinking. He's evolved his coaching style from what he learned from Nick Saban, all that. Okay. What I would tell you is he also had guys that were an average age of 23 years old, lots of experience on the field. And they had a schedule that didn't beat them to death. Mm-hmm. So they were fresh when they got there.
I believe the two teams that were in the national championship game were the two oldest teams in college football. So,
do what? Say that again.
The two teams that were in the national championship were the two oldest teams in college football. I believe Indiana's average age was like 24. I believe Miami was like 23 and a half.
Right up there. Yeah, it was.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like we forget like certain things. Like both of those teams were old, not just right. Indiana. Indiana was just older, but Miami wasn't far behind.
Well, you look at Michigan and Ohio State the 2 years before that.
I keep saying that. The way to win a championship, as seen by Ohio State, Michigan, now Indiana, is to have an older team, to have an easy schedule, and to be able to have your offensive line be your offensive line. Like, have those guys be the guys. Like, because, I mean...
Pay them. Be able to pay their
because
asses.
in college football, a good offensive line basically wins you the day. I mean,
and defensive line, both lines, the trenches matter.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, I think that's the formula. So, and if you have a returning quarterback, the better. But, so.
Yeah, or a guy like Fernando Mendoza, who he was in year 6, year 5 or 6.
He's old.
Right? Mm-hmm. And he had played lots of football. So, the guy was really, and listen, and I think that what Cignetti did, I was talking about this the other day, that, man, I mean, he reiterated this over the last couple of weeks, talking about that they practice like an hour and a half of the day at most. They don't hit after spring. That didn't make them not tough. Oklahoma, pay attention. It didn't make them not tough to do that.
Oklahoma.
But he wasn't doing a bunch of hitting. And that's, it's some of these old school ways of doing things. Look, the more games you add to this deal, the tougher it's going to be to get through it, unscathed. You have to now develop talent earlier. You have to, you better be recruiting guys that can play. If they're coming out of high school, you better be getting guys that are going to be able to play if they're called upon. Otherwise, you're screwed.
I have another measurement. I think the longer the season, I think the further you spread games out too, I think it gets harder for younger players because they're not used to that.
I hate the schedule. I hate the CFP schedule being spread out.
I mean, what is the championship next year? On the 25th or something? I'm like,
the next 2 years.
Kidding?
Yes.
That's literally going to be the week of, I believe the NFL does their final week before they like pick their Super Bowl teams. Like,
right. And a lot of that is for stupid reasons too. Like, them acting like you can't play a game on the week of Army Navy. Why?
I don't know.
It makes no sense. You don't have to play it at the same time. Give them their time slot. Hell, even give them their day. We're playing games on Thursdays and Fridays and Tuesdays in the CFP. Nobody cares.
Nope. Nobody cares. Like, so nobody cares. And aren't schools off by that in that time? Isn't it break or winter break or whatever?
Of course it is. You went to college, you know.
Yeah.
You
Well, and
know?
that's why, yeah. But we're at Congress talking about taking kids' money away. Like, yeah.
Right. Yes, and that's the whole point, is that if we're gonna sit here and throw these, listen, I would agree if I believed that it was just players that are leaving and they were running rampant with the rules I might agree with you somewhat. The truth of the
Yeah.
matter is at least 75% of the time, coaches are telling players to get in the portal.
Facts.
You know why? Because they love having flexibility that, you know what, and the other part is they're
By somebody
paying these
else.
guys. If they don't think they're worth the money they're giving them, they don't want them anymore.
I agree. And that's why I'm like, you guys are just full of crap. You guys are liars. You're disingenuous. You are
Completely
literally,
disingenuous. All of this
you're
is
liars.
disingenuous talk. It's just talk. And that's why I've tried to say to people all day that, folks, stop putting this off on the players that didn't make a single one of these
Nope.
rules.
It's the system. You know me. That y'all put the system in place. The athletes are taking advantage of the system, and now you're mad at the athletes for taking advantage of the
There's a
system that you
handful of
put in
athletes
place.
that do what you're talking about. I mean, they're making it like it's athletes that are doing. It's always athletes. They're all
Always.
rotten.
It's always the people, though. It's never the system. It's always the people. And this is universal in life, in anything. We always blame the people. We're it's our fault. Like, we never blame the system, though. It's our fault for needing more gas. It's not the fault that gas prices are too high. Like, it's our fault because we should just stay at home. Like, what? But that's how this world works. Like, it's always the people. It's never the system. Never.
Sure. Of course. No, you're not wrong.
So,
You're not wrong. Again, this is why I said that I believe that it's a lot of hypocrisy that was being spewed out there. I can't stand it coming from people like Cody Campbell. I don't like hearing it coming from Nick Saban either. Again,
yeah.
all respect to Nick
Just
Saban
one.
for the coach that he was. He's the GOAT. I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying that he wasn't fantastic. And I'm not saying that he didn't do it better than everybody else once he got him there. I'm not saying that.
Facts.
What I'm saying is because you don't like the system as it is, it didn't serve you the way it did. You were smart enough to leave. Now you can leave it alone. Because guess what? It's still making you rich at game day.
Exactly. And if you were that like, oh, that's so annoyed and it was so bad, quit your job, Nick Saban. You will never. You will never. Because you're eating off of it. That's what I'm saying. Like, be for real. Just be for real.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can't beat the teams, what are we doing? Well, that was the point I told you guys at the start of this show. The guy from the Penn State Sports Talk guy that came in here last week saying, no, we need to go up to 24 teams because at 12
Who's his
teams,
team?
if Penn State loses to Michigan, Ohio State, and Oregon, we don't get in, but at 24 we do. And I was like, that's the exact reason you shouldn't go to 24 teams.
Who's his team?
Penn State. That guy's Penn State. It's who he was talking about. Dave is a Michigan guy. That's what I'm saying, though. This challenging schedule.
You looked at Penn State's schedule?
It's awful.
But my thing is like, think about so let's say, what if Penn State goes 10-2?
USCJ in the house. They
What are
got
we
a
gonna
tougher schedule than I've ever
10-2?
seen since Lincoln got there.
Yeah, but what are we going to do if Penn State goes 10-2? Are we keeping them out?
They'll get in.
Because we
They'll
don't look
get
at
in.
we don't look at strength of schedule. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
No, they'll get in.
so if they get in, that's another spot, and it's like, here we go again, same merry-go-round. So
Right,
I
and
don't know.
I mean, 10-2. I don't know. We can go back and look at their schedule, but I don't know how good they're going to be as Iowa State East this year. I mean, I like Matt Campbell as much as the next guy,
Yeah.
but I have a hard time believing that they're going to. They may end up getting nine wins or so, but I don't know. I don't know. USCJ, I think that USC is one of those teams that's going to be there. They should be there at the end, even though they have a tougher schedule than they've had, even with Notre Dame no longer on it, right? With them taking their little break or whatever. They're going to play. They've got to play Indiana. They've got to play Ohio State. They've got to play Oregon. They're actually playing. They've got, 4-5 top 25 games right now, if you look at it. So, SC. USC.
Oh! I thought you were talking about Penn State. I was like, no, they don't.
Oh, no, not Penn State.
I was like, no,
some of these, and even like Ohio State has 6 games against preseason top 25 teams, right? Michigan has 5. USC, I think, has 5. Indiana has 4, right? It's more than it was last year.
Yeah.
At least for preseason wise and stuff like that. Now, you don't know how it's going to work itself out at the end of the day. We'll see.
You never know. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You never know.
But, on paper, SC's got a tougher, and it sounds to me like they're putting pressure on Lincoln Riley to go and win.
Here's Penn State's schedule. Are you ready? This is a doozy. Marshall, Temple, Buffalo, Wisconsin, Northwestern, USC, Michigan, Purdue, Washington, Minnesota, Rutgers, Maryland.
Yeah. Ugh, bad. Terrible.
So,
well, that's what Indiana's schedule was like last year, aside from playing Oregon
and Ohio State. Yeah.
They didn't play Ohio State till the conference championship game. They were on the regular season schedule.
Yeah. So,
that Penn State was, and they almost lost to Penn State, a bad Penn State.
Yeah. What a great game that was. That was such a good game.
Yeah.
That was such a good game. So yeah, anyways, I just, that's why I always say, it's like, there's always, and every year, this, how long we've been watching college football, right? It goes like this every offseason. Every offseason, we're talking about the top teams, and everybody's going to be this, and who's going to be this.
List,
and then,
I'm correct. Not thinking that everybody in this list is going to be correct at the end. It's probably, you might.
There's going to be a sleeper or two. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's why it's like when you look at schedules, it's easy to figure out like who it might be, because it's like you just look at schedules, and that's how it happens. Is you look up and you're like, wait, who do they play the next 3 weeks? Maryland.
Well, and that's why I said to you, talk to me about Texas, because I know you don't have forever. Why is listen, I told you earlier that why do I believe that Texas said what they said about Texas Tech's schedule? Because Sark knows that it's going to be tough to win 10 games and get into the playoff this year. Even though you got a second-year player in Arch Manning, you went and paid the money that you paid for your running backs, for Cam Coleman. They're loaded, right? You went and got, and your offensive line was terrible, so you fired the defensive coordinator, PK, and went and got Will Muschamp. Why are they going to be there at the end as far as you're concerned?
Well, I want to clarify one thing. The PK firing was because why would you not go get Muschamp if you can't? So for me,
I think it's debatable, but I agree with what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying, but I think it is debatable.
And I think that the thing about Texas this year, and we don't know how any of this is going to go, what's going to look like, right? The thing that I like, they have the things that I say that you need to win. You have a returning quarterback with your returning coach. And so that's one thing. The offensive line should be better this year because we're returning the tackles, and then I can't remember who's coming in at center, and so we need to replace the guards. I think they'll figure that out. My biggest thing with Texas is if they're able to run the football, they're going to be just fine because there's too many weapons to not be fine. That's like the key to our season is running the football because we haven't been able to lately. And
Correct.
So for me, it's not even. I don't even
carried Texas the last 3 years. I would think.
Yeah, and I don't even want to say I don't care about the defense. I care about the defense. Okay, I do. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't care about the defense, but we need our offense to score points. We need our offense to move the ball down the field. The amount of 3 and outs we were having that was insane. We were honestly a really bad football team for the first 6 games of the season. We were bad. We were a bad football team and we're still winning because of talent. That's it. There's the only reason why we were winning because of talent. And then once we started to figure it out, it started to look better, but we still couldn't run the football. And so for me, I need them to be able to run the football. If they can run the football, then none of this is going to matter because how are you going to defend a Texas offense that can run the football? What do you do? Honestly, do you say, hey, okay, they can run the football. We'll sell it on the run. Okay. Are you going to do that?
You can't sell out on either side of it because the passing wise, to some extent, you got to be careful you had to be careful with that at the end of the year because where Arch would take off and be gone.
And that's what I'm saying. So it's if we can run the football with our running backs, we know what Arch can do. Let's just assume Arch doesn't even run. All right. Let's just assume he's a pocket passer. He's not going to be, but let's just assume. how do you defend that Texas offense? Do you say, oh, we're going to sell it for the run? Okay. And even if you sell it in the run, like, be careful, because if Arch pulls the ball, you're screwed. Or if you say, like, they can't even run, like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, the key to us going is going to be running the football. And when you look at the schedule, it's tough. Like, I'm not going to say it's not tough, but I always say, if you do your job, it shouldn't matter who you're playing, because you're doing your job. Last year we couldn't do our job, so it mattered.
Yeah, and they have a schedule, or they have a roster that says we should be able to beat anybody if we play
your
the way
job.
that we're capable of playing, right?
That's it. And that's all I ever say about my team. And that's why people are like, why are you not? I'm like, because at the end of the day, and that's why I said, like, I'm not emotionally invested in this. This is mental for me. And mental for me means doing your job. I'm not asking you to do anything special. I'm just asking the right guard to do what the right guard is supposed to do. I'm asking the center to hike the ball accordingly, right? Like, I'm not asking for anything tricky. I'm just asking you to do the job that you are supposed to do that lends itself to your talent. That's it. I'm not expecting Cam Coleman to go out there and have 35, yards like this season. I'm not expecting it. I'm expecting him to make tough contested catches. I'm expecting him to run crisp routes. I'm expecting him to be a big target for Arch. I'm not expecting you to go, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not expecting you to be a hero. I'm not expecting anyone to do anything extraordinary. Now, if they do, fantastic. But at the very minimum, I need you to do your job. I need the receivers to catch the ball.
So I'm glad you said that, because I know the expectations are high, and there always are. In Austin, let's not get it twisted. They're always going to be high, even when they probably shouldn't be. They're going to be high.
Yeah.
But
that's why people hate
What
us.
are your expectations for this Longhorn team? What do you expect?
I expect them to be in the playoffs. I expect them to beat Ohio State week 2.
Okay.
And if they beat Ohio State week 2, I think this Texas team has the potential to do something, because I think sometimes with teams, you have to get that thing off your back, right? That thing that tells
you need to win that game, and you better split. I said this about Oklahoma. I think the Oklahoma better beat Michigan, and they have to split Georgia, Texas, or else they probably don't make it in.
Ooh, you guys do have Georgia this year.
And on the road at that.
Yeah. I'll leave that where it's at for now.
But yeah, so last year, I know.
Yeah, they're gonna bark at you. So what a weird experience. It was fun though. It was a lot of fun. But so for me, like, because I look at it like this. If I look at this as like two like halves of football, where it's like, let's be honest, okay, we play Texas State week 1. All right, if we struggle with Texas State, none of this shit matters. Like, let me just establish the baseline.
Also, do you get up for a team like that? Well, it's hard to get. They're kids. It's hard to make them.
But yes, because it's not supposed to be about them, right? That goes back to doing your job, right? And so that's my thing.
Don't let your foot off the gas ever.
Correct. If you show up for that game, right, and I feel like you're ready. Because it's kind of how I felt when we played Michigan, not last year, but the year before. It was like the first game of the season. I'm like, I need them to show up and be ready. And they beat Colorado State 52-0. It's not about them, right? Because it's never about them. It's about, did Texas show up ready to play? And they did. They did exactly what they're supposed to do. Went up to Michigan, beat them. And to me, it was like, because they were ready to go. That's what I need to see. I need them to be ready to go week 1. It's not about the game per se, but you know what I'm saying? It's about that energy where you're like, oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Texas.
Make short word of it. Don't let them hang around long. Get off the field so that you get ready for Ohio State at halftime.
Give me backups, in the second half. Like, do what you got to do. Get on out of there. And let's just get ready for this nighttime game against Ohio State.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think you're right on that. So what do you think the biggest obstacle is, and who worries you more? Georgia, Oklahoma. Obviously, you don't play Georgia in the regular season, but would it be Georgia, Oklahoma?
What game?
You don't have Alabama on the schedule either. LSU. Who is it? Which team worries you? Ole Miss. Okay, cool.
Ole Miss.
Why?
And we get Ole Miss at home, so that helps. Ole Miss has what I think would give us the biggest heartache. They have a consistent, solid quarterback, and they have a run game. And those are two things that I feel like against Texas historically, right, with PK, I feel like anyway. Anytime you had a good quarterback and a great run game, PK usually that was where we would struggle.
Well, it's
is
like
because
that's the kryptonite for most college football defenses
fair.
is a mobile quarterback and then
then-
a run game aside from that, right? The mobile quarterback that can also complete passes.
Right. And so that one and where it's at in the schedule, I don't love it. So that's also a thing where I'm kind of just like, all right, here we go. And the LSU thing, being at LSU, it's going to probably be a night game. Like Arch Manning is from LSU, or Louisiana. So that's that. And then the other game too, that's like on my mind is going to be Tennessee because we're going there. And again, it's an away game. It's another opportunity to be away in an environment that you're not used to. It's going to be early in the season. It's in September. So we will have played Ohio State.
Or are you talking about Ole Miss still?
I'm talking about Tennessee.
Yeah.
I'm talking when we play Tennessee.
Yeah,
we're going to have to go there. It's going to be loud.
To me, that's a tough game right before Red River.
That's what I'm saying.
Road.
Yeah. So that's the other game. So my two kind of games where I'm kind of looking at them sideways in a way because I don't really love where they're at. And I feel like they're two teams that people just usually don't talk about, right? Because we all know the other ones, right? Like everyone's going to talk about Ohio State. The Red River, everyone's going to talk about that game. Everyone's going to talk about A&M. Everyone's going to talk about certain games just because they are what they are. LSU, it's going to be a night game. It's LSU, it's Lane Kiffin, it's Coach Sark, they're best friends. Like, I got it. But I'm more worried about the games no one's going to talk about. Because I feel like when you have a team that is really talented, and no one's going to ever say Texas isn't talented.
You can't not get up for these games. It's like Florida.
Exactly.
You're looking ahead to Oklahoma, you get beat up.
That wasn't even it. That was a bigger issue. I don't even think they cared about Oklahoma. Did you see that offensive line?
But I mean, you look at Mississippi State. They should have probably lost that game. Kentucky, they should have lost that game.
We weren't a good football team.
They found a way. But
the only team that couldn't figure out how to score a touchdown when we were terrible was one team.
Shut up.
I just need everybody to know that there are moments in life where I reach out to Jason and I'm like, so not even a touchdown? Like just one.
That's enough of you. You know me. You know how I feel about that. Listen, I'm not ready to pick Oklahoma to win a game in the Red River until I see them score a touchdown again, for sure. But certainly,
you have to admit it's pretty funny though. Like when you just step back and think about it,
it sucks for an Oklahoma fan, and especially when you make that trip and go, it's brutal, right? Now, I've also been to a bunch of games where Oklahoma did the same thing to Texas and made it look ugly. So, I mean, I get it. It sucks on both sides of it. No two ways around it. I went one time. I went the year that they won 63 to whatever it was. Landry Jones's last year there. And I went with a buddy of mine who was a huge Texas fan. Yeah. And I couldn't even talk shit to him after halftime. You know what I mean? It was like, it wasn't even fun at that point because it sucked. And I just knew it's like watching somebody kick your dog. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so it does, but I get it. Look, at the end of the day, it's one of them games that it's going to matter no matter what. But this is another reason that I say, don't move this to 24. The game is supposed to matter.
Oh yeah. The 24 thing. Somebody asked me if Texas could beat everybody and lose to A&M and lose to Oklahoma and go 10-2, would I like that? I'm like, yeah. Like my thing is, like I said, I have
beaten a bunch of other really good teams as well.
Right. And our schedule, my thing is like our schedule is so hard. Nobody's expecting us to go undefeated. Like no one in their right mind, besides like the Texas homers probably are thinking we're going to go undefeated, right? Right. So we at least are going to let's just give Texas 2 losses. Let's just give it to them. Let's just say they go 10-2. Pick your 2, right? I don't care. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a rival or I don't care if it's I don't care. Like give me them 2 losses and let me go to the college football playoffs. Like, oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, no matter who the 2 losses are to, I'd say the same thing about Oklahoma.
Yeah,
I hate it if they lose to Texas again. Again, I'm not picking them to win. But I do believe if they go 10-2, that means that they beat Michigan. They had to have beaten Georgia or Ole Miss or
there them 2
plenty
losses.
of teams on that schedule that were tough, right? So you had to go through. You had to beat Texas A&M. You had to,
y'all play Texas A&M this year?
Yeah, we get Texas A&M this year too.
So y'all have Texas A&M, Georgia, Ole
I don't think
Miss.
it's the same. Yeah.
Texas. You still have Texas A&M, Georgia, Ole Miss. Who is there? Michigan. That's 5. Is there anybody else besides those 5 that?
Yeah, let me get it. I'll get it for you. Hold on.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're good. That's part of the reason I do this.
I didn't realize. Oh, this is getting fancy. You're so fancy, Jason. My goodness. Fancy.
There you go. All right, so you've got Georgia on the road, Michigan on the road. You play Florida on the road. Obviously, you got Texas. I think Mississippi State is an up-and-coming team. Kamario Taylor's legit.
Yeah.
They got a legitimate defensive coordinator now. Zach coming back, their former head coach that got fired after 1 year. He was considered one of the best defensive coordinators in the country before he got the head coaching job, and they fired him in a year. South Carolina, I don't think much of them, but I mean, Lenora Sellers is legit. We'll see what.
And the coach might be fighting for his life.
He's fighting for his life, but having to go to the swamp. Look, I think John Summerall is one of the best coaches in the country. Anyway, I think that they always had talent. I just think that Billy didn't do a very good job on Saturdays, right? I think quarterback's going to be a thing, but they've got one of the best receiver rooms in the country. They've got one of the best running back rooms in the country. If their quarterback is serviceable, they're going to be good.
Yeah.
Right. And they're at home.
And by that point, they're either going to have it figured out or it'll be a laughing stock. You never really know. Yeah.
You got Ole Miss again, though. I mean, are they legit again? We'll see. I think that there's a lot of questions about Ole Miss, but again,
what do you think the questions are?
I think he's fantastic.
Think the questions are their defense?
I think the question is, did they do enough to? Well, if you look at what Ole Miss is, first of all, the schedule that they play is considerably harder than the one that they played a season ago. They didn't have Georgia.
I feel like we all have hard schedules.
They didn't have Alabama, but not last season. They didn't. Right? Last season they didn't play Bama, Georgia, Texas. They played Oklahoma, but they didn't have to play the other tough teams and they did beat LSU, which is a rivalry game. But again,
they got to play them this year. Their toughest games.
Their toughest games were against
y'all
Oklahoma.
And
Oklahoma,
Georgia.
And they didn't. Oh, it was Georgia. They did play.
It was Georgia.
Sorry,
that was another great game.
And they beat them. Right.
Yeah, it was another great game.
But after that, they didn't. I mean, they didn't have to play Bama. They didn't have to play you guys. They didn't play A&M.
A&M had a cakewalk last year.
They did, right? So, but here's the thing. And on top of that, whenever look, I know that Charlie Weiss Jr. gets a lot of credit, but Lane Kiffin, when something's going crazy with that offense, what they know him for is being able to be that guy, kind of like Sark, that you should be the guy that could right the ship. And get off your script and do something, make an adjustment that's going to help. Now, their new offensive coordinator used to be on the staff with Kiffin a couple of years back when Levy was there. It's still not the same. You do have Kejuan Lacey coming back, and you have him, but you don't. A lot of the receivers aren't the same. They lost a lot of those guys. They're replacing a little bit off of their offensive line. They added to this defense, and I think that Pete is a defensive coach, so they should be better than they were, and I don't think they were that good on defense. They were serviceable, but not great. And then we don't know what he really is as a head coach. They were good enough. They were good enough that yes, they won playoff games, but was that because did they win those playoff games?
True.
Because
they already have the foundation.
Well, they had the foundation, and plus they're pissed off at what just happened. I mean, sometimes the proper motivation can do things like that for you.
That's valid. That's valid. Very valid.
So tougher schedule, new coach. I don't know. And again, they've got some tough games on there. They got to play Texas and Oklahoma. They got to they've got some tough games on their schedule. So I feel like
what are you feeling about A&M?
They got LSU in week 3.
Yeah. They have us soon after, I think. What do you think about A&M?
I don't believe in Texas A&M. I have them in the first 4 out right now, but I think Marcel's not good. And I think that they made a huge mistake not going and getting a proven play caller whenever Colin Klein left. I think it was a huge mistake. Huge mistake.
I don't like teams that lose their entire offensive lines. I think that's
well, and on top of that, that's part of it as well.
Yeah, and there's a couple of teams on that, like A&M's like that, Miami's like that. I think it's there's another team that lost almost all of their offense. Was it Alabama? There's another team that I feel like lost like 4 out of their 5, and I'm just like, I don't really love that in college football. That's hard. I mean, hello, proof right here. Like, it's hard. It's hard. So especially when you're playing like real competition, it's hard.
Oh no doubt. Well, and that's what I say. I think that they again, A&M had the bottom half of the SEC for most of the season.
They did until they didn't. You're welcome, A&M.
Until they didn't. No, and what happened? They got the shit kicked out of them.
You're welcome, A&M.
Right? And I mean, they almost lost to South Carolina.
Yeah, the week before or 2 weeks before or whatever.
Putrid, and they're down 30-3 at the half because Marcel is turning the ball over.
Yeah, but like I said before, I feel like Coach
at home.
Coach Sark was speaking to multiple teams, but he's loyal. He's not going to call out the SEC teams, but they also fit in what he was saying. Let's make that very clear. They do fit into what he was saying.
In another conference, so he wasn't necessarily calling out A&M by name, but I don't doubt what you're saying either, that he was kind of nudging that way too.
Yeah, they're a part of this. A&M, Alabama, like y'all are a part of this too. And let's just call it what it is. Miami lost 2 games to who? So I'm just saying
they lost to Louisville and SMU.
Yeah. So it's like, so everybody can get it. Like everybody is subjective to. If you have bad losses, don't act like your bad losses aren't the same as my bad losses. Like, because we all have bad losses. Like, let's not act like this is like, and my bad losses were against a team.
This is why I like the playoff as is, because there's consequences for losing those games.
Yeah. I'm okay. I don't like 12 when it's really 10. Because 10 because if Notre Dame is ranked
going to 14 instead of 12 so that
14 or 16 is okay with me, but when it's because it's really 10. I mean, let's call it what it is. Like Notre Dame is N if they're ranked in the top 10 or 12 or whatever. So that spot's taken, and then you're giving it to a G5. So really we're playing 10, and there's more than 10 teams that I think deserve to be in the playoffs. So for me, if you go to 14 or even 16, I think 16 is the highest that I would feel like this means something. You still are able to get good teams in there. People will still get left out, so you're still going to have the drama.
There's going to be people that would disagree with this, but I don't mind that there's an argument that Texas is making for making the playoff because of the wins they had on the schedule they played. I don't have a problem with it, but I don't have a problem that they left them out. I don't have a problem that they left out Notre Dame because guess what? You lost to Miami. Head-to-head must matter.
Yeah.
I don't matter.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind that they left them out.
I don't mind that they left them out.
But they lied to them. That's the thing.
And ended up losing the conference championship game badly. I don't have a problem that they left them out either because guess what? The Big 12, your schedule wasn't great.
But let me tell you what they need to do. What they really should do, okay? You can steal this. You can act like you can't with this. I don't care. You can take it, okay? What needs to happen is you do 14 teams. You put in 12. You make 4 teams play for those 2 spots.
I love that idea.
And you line it up. Because we what is it? How many weeks do we have? 3 weeks? Make them play.
Well,
make them play it
in. You look at the first 4 out that I had, and I threw that up there a minute ago too. The first 4 out part, I'll just throw it back up there.
Yeah. So you have your 12, everyone's set, it's cool. And then play them in, let those 4 teams line it up, and whoever wins gets in and whoever loses is out. Full stop. First of all, you know how much money that would make. First of all, second of all of the arguments and all of that would be just put it on the field. Give me an LSU versus SMU and a Michigan versus Texas A&M. Winners and losers out. This is simple. 14 teams.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with that either. And then somebody was asking me what about the G6? Now, I don't like the G6 being in it, but they certainly should have to play in this if they're going to be, right?
They should not be in it. They already have one team.
Yeah, I agree. Well, again, this was an ACC problem with their tiebreaker that screwed that up, and the fact that it was the top 5 ranked conference champions in
Right.
FBS was in the
Terrible.
the committees. That's what they had to do. So that was stupid, number one. And then the ACC allowing a 5-loss team to even play for their conference championship was stupid.
But did you read
Right.
the new clause for 2026? It is I think it's the
I still
4
think it's stupid. Yeah.
conference winners. So if that happens, right? If what happened
Now,
last
the
year
fifth
happens
one
this
isn't
year,
going to be, but they're still going to allow a
but
G6.
if what happened last year happens this year, that means Duke would have been in the playoffs.
Mhm.
You screw up everything. That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like what they've done is they put everything in a box and there's no way out because you haven't added. That is why you have a play-in. If you have play-ins, you at least allow a different infusion. But whenever the way that it's structured
you're
is
jockeying for those last few spots. I mean, you're not messing with the teams that you know are the best.
no, let them play.
And they've won their conferences, or they're right there in the mix to win their conference. You know they're among the best in the country.
Mhm.
These teams that are questionable, they got 2 losses, or maybe they get to a third, but they're definitely, if you do that, you can't be in the playoff, but you could be in a play-in game.
Yeah,
And
let them play.
I love stuff like that. I love the idea, but at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is, again, don't make it so big that that now people start sitting out of the damn A&M Texas game.
Yeah, that's
at the end
stupid.
of the
Yeah,
year.
no. Yeah,
Don't do
I agree.
that.
24 is 16 is the highest that I think we should do it. And if they come back and say
At least for now. Yeah.
we're doing a play-in or whatever, that's fine. But I've always said,
Charles,
honestly,
thanks for the super chat, my guy. You the man.
I don't think that there's 24 good schools in college football that should be able to play for a championship.
There
game,
ain't 16.
honestly.
There ain't 16.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, it's got to be 15 because one of them is the.
But there's not 12 either. But the point is that you can qualify for it, and that's fine. But there's not 12. But if you screw it up and you don't get up for a game like you're supposed to, and you lose, you deserve to not be there that year. That's what makes college football great to me.
No, I don't disagree.
Handle your business.
I just don't think I don't think anybody should be guaranteed anything. I think that's what makes it. I think that's the one part I don't like.
Participation trophies be damned. I don't love it.
I don't like that. I don't care. Like I don't like that. I don't like that there's certain things that just gets you in. I don't like that, but there's a lot of things in life I don't like, so a reasonable 24 team playoff looks like a big 4 leagues. Each get 6 spot. No, oh my God, that's so much. No, or you could just that is so much. That is so much.
It's too many.
Can you imagine who would be like 19 on this list? Can you imagine like?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Cal.
Now, SEC, you look at the SEC last year. You had Vanderbilt at 10-2, and you had Texas at 9-3. They would have been, one of them would have been number 6 to get in. Yeah. But I don't think that happens every year, and I don't think it's going to happen every year.
No, but like, could you imagine last year if it was like Notre Dame?
There wasn't 6 Big Ten teams that should have been in.
But can you imagine last year if it was like Notre Dame versus Texas, BYU versus Vanderbilt? Like, y'all deprived us of that.
But okay, cool. I get you, and because of the G6, right? No. Why are we watching? Nobody's watching Ole Miss play Tulane, and nobody was watching Oregon beat the shit out of JMU either.
Nobody was watching that. No,
nobody watched it. And nobody's going to watch. Nobody's going to watch Ohio State play the number 4 team out of the Big 12.
To be honest, yeah, no one's going to watch that. I mean, this is going to sound very Homer-ish of me, but I feel like the only team that might still get those views is if it's like Arch Manning, because it will be Arch Manning. And they're going to hype that up beyond belief. But
what?
If it was against like no name JMU or whatever, because that just gives them another chance to be ridiculous. But I don't understand that. I will never.
The networks would love it. I mean, it's like Notre Dame. They love it when Notre Dame is on television because of the Catholics. I get it. And
I will never agree or like giving a G5 a spot. Never. I think it's dumb. I think it's ridiculous. I will never be on board. I will never like it. I don't care who doesn't like it. I don't care. I'm never changing my mind. I think
not about
I think it's a
elitism.
waste.
It's not about elitism. It's
waste.
about you don't have to do the same thing to get in that we do.
It's a waste. Now, if you have a playoff or a play-in and they win a play-in game, cool. Put them in there. But I don't like it. I don't think that they should be guaranteed a spot. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. And I've always thought that. So
the first 12-team playoff, Boise got a fucking bye.
I think it's a joke. I hate it. There's nothing no.
Insanity.
Yeah.
Insanity.
I don't,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, the conference champion doesn't get a bye.
I don't. That was a huge
from the Big 12. The Big 12 conference champion didn't get one.
We had that experience 2 years ago, and the way that they fixed it was to say, "Hey, y'all will get in. Y'all get a I hate it. I think it's awful, and I'll say it. I think it's bad for college football because they can go. You're leaving out a team. You're leaving out a team that can carry a lot more weight and have a better matchup, and it could be better football.
But again, I would say that there was multiple teams like that. Texas was like that. Vandy was like that. Notre Dame was like that, and I would even argue BYU was like that. There's at least 4 teams that you can say that you should have got in. I'll push back and tell you that those 4 teams, aside from I think Vandy. Now, Vandy didn't have the greatest schedule in the SEC, but I think Vandy didn't get in because of name recognition. That's why they didn't get in, because they're used to it being bad. They went 10-2. I think they got screwed also. But at the end of the day, I'll say this. You look at Notre Dame, their best games, they lost them. The best games, they got beat. Now, they beat USC and they beat Navy.
But I still would rather see them in there than JMU or Tulane.
There's a couple of games that they won that you were like, okay, well, SC was a big win. It always is going to be a big win. But what did they do that made you say they have to be in? Nothing. And I'm not even a hater of Notre Dame. I'm not even one of them dudes.
Well,
but
I mean, I don't.
When it comes to
but if you
BYU,
change the rules,
the 2 games against the best team you played, they beat the shit out of you. Don't want to hear it.
But if you change the rules to say, hey, we have 1 spot available, which of these 4 teams, that's a different conversation for me versus what did they do to be able to get in? That's my argument. My argument is you have a team in there that's taking a spot that is never going to beat anybody.
True.
I don't get that. That to me, that's just for shits and giggles.
And I mean, and that's, Josh Pate's like, don't argue on that they can't win from the G. It's don't argue on well, and I get it. But at the end of the day, they can't and why can't they? Because they don't have to go through the same qualifications to get there. They have a different road than what the Power 4 has.
Yeah, no, I hate it. And again, it's like this.
I mean, if you're pissed off, the ACC and the ACC and the Big 12 like to be mad at the SEC and some in the Big 10, but mostly the SEC. Why aren't you pissed off at the G6 teams getting it?
Because that makes no noise.
About that.
They don't care. Let's be honest. In life, you can always tell who's in a power position because of who's getting criticized.
That's true.
They know. They know who the big dogs are. They know. We know. Okay. Like they can say what they want to say. They can act like whatever they want to act like. When everybody builds a defense, you know what they say? Our defense looks like the SEC. When everybody has a good offensive line, you know what they say? We have an SEC offensive line. You know what they say when they have fast linebackers? We have SEC type linebackers.
SEC.
That's what I'm saying. Like you guys, all of you guys want to be SEC so bad that every chance you get, you tell on yourself. So that's why for me, I'm like, until that stops, like, let's be honest, anytime somebody looks at players, they're like, oh, he came here. We beat out the SEC. Oh, he came here. He transferred here. He played in the SEC. Doesn't matter if it's Arkansas.
Right now because they're holding it over the SEC's head that they won the last 3 national championships. And they're the best conference and all that.
And there's not
a lot of arguing to do about it.
The only conference that can talk trash, too, to the SEC is the Big Ten. Let's also make that very clear. Like, everybody else, you guys stop. Yeah, nobody, you're not, I don't take you seriously. Stop. It's embarrassing. Just stop. It's so embarrassing. So, do we need to talk about draft picks? But anyways, I'm just saying, like,
Look, at the end of the day, we can have that argument with only one conference, right?
That's what
There's
I'm
only
saying.
one conference that can
And
have
we
that argument.
even like, it wasn't even close with them either. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we know, you know who the big dog is. Okay,
No,
don't ever forget.
again, like I said, I mean, shit. I've seen Oklahoma play what I think is the toughest schedule the last 2 years in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the only good team that they didn't play the last 2 years was Georgia. Everybody else they played.
Fair, yeah.
You know, I guess A&M if you think they're good, but I didn't. So, I mean, I'm just saying. Just saying.
That's funny.
But, yeah, okay, so closing question for you.
Yeah.
If Texas, you know, and this goes back to kind of what Sark was saying, it started a lot of shit. Number one, I know you don't care. I'll ask this one first, and then I'll ask you the closing question. Do you care that Texas Tech wanted to play and is talking all that smack? Do you feel like they should have found a way to play it? I already know the answer.
A lion does not waste his time worried about sheep.
Got it. I'm with you. There was zero upside for Texas on that. Right.
Yeah. We're good over here. We're so good.
Right.
And it worked, right? Like, now you're trying to find a better games. Now you're talking about 2027, the things you're going to add to your schedule. So you're welcome. You're very welcome, Texas Tech.
So knowing what, and you said that the pressure's on, and you said it yourself. What happens if you don't make the playoff this season? What does that do for Sark? What does that do for the program? I mean, where do you think we are? Does Sark end up leaving on his own? Would he be on the hot seat? I think you said before, you're always on the hot seat at Texas.
You're always on the hot seat at Texas, for better or for worse. Some might argue that Sark might be talking a lot because he knows he's leaving, right? So there's the other piece of that where it's like, why not set this whole place on fire as I head out? And I think if Texas doesn't make the playoffs, the reason why they don't make the playoffs is going to be interesting. So if Texas doesn't make the playoffs because they lost to Ohio State, insert whoever here, and it was really close games, okay. But if Texas doesn't make the playoffs because they got blown out, like, you know, or some dumb stuff happens, I think we have a different problem. If Texas doesn't make the playoffs because their offensive line isn't good, we might need new coaches anyway. So that's what so it's kind of like, it really depends on the why as to why they don't make it. Because I don't believe you can repeat offend. I think we gave Sark a lot of grace this season. And the past 2 seasons, we really haven't been able to run the football effectively. If we really want to be honest, we haven't been able to run the football effectively.
And it's not like you didn't have good backs. It was
not
just
like we didn't have good backs. Well. And some of like Kelvin Banks is literally the starting left tackle for the New Orleans Saints in the NFL. Yeah. So it's not like you didn't have guys, right? Like,
and you had guys. It's not like they struggled all the time. It was that, especially like red zone stuff, things like that. These are coaching issues.
Facts.
They haven't been good in the red zone since he got there.
Yeah. So for me, you don't get to be that way 3 years in a row. So that's why for me, it's kind of like, what does this look like? Like now if it looks better and we can run the football, and again, I want to be practical. I'm not saying like against Ohio State, we need to have 300 rushing yards.
You got to win it all.
I'm not crazy. But I do think that when you watch the Texas Longhorns line up against the Ohio State Buckeyes, you should be able to look on that football field and you should be able to go, wow, these teams are just talented. Like, you should just be able to say, wow, like this is high level, capable football. And whoever wins this game is going to have to grind it out, and they're going to have to out physical somebody. And I think
both places are kind of similar. Columbus, they're expecting them to go there and beat your ass.
Of course. And that's what you want.
Austin, you're expecting,
and that's what you want. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like, when that game, I mean, we have Cam Coleman on one side. We have Jeremiah Smith on another side. We have Arch Manning on one side.
What a game!
Like, I could go on and on by who we have on each side. I can talk about all the athletes all over the field. And so I need Texas to go out there and show that, right? Like, I need you to be there and be in that. And to be fair, I mean, minus Arch Manning playing awful until the halfway through the fourth quarter, week 1, it kind of did look that way last year. It was kind of like, wow,
yeah,
these
dudes. It was. I don't think there was a big difference. There wasn't a big difference. They just didn't play very well.
Right, and that's it. And so I'm not playing very well against that talented team of Ohio State, and that's the result. So this year, it's like we can't keep having that excuse, and that's kind of where I'm at. So it's go time. So you don't get 3 years of bad offensive line.
But is it championship or bust for you?
Not for me today. Not for me today. Now, maybe week 8, maybe I might be
You gotta
feeling
at
them a
least
little
make the
bit.
playoff and make a run at it, but you don't necessarily today have to win the whole thing.
No, and I need to get a feel for them first, right? Like I need to see what it feels like. I need to see how I feel too. You know me, I'm like all about my instincts. Like if I feel it, and
Yeah, well,
me
no,
too, like
what you see
with the
on the
Arch
field
Manning
tells you
thing.
whether they can win or not. I told
Yeah,
you
and
midway through the year last year, Oklahoma has a defense to win a natty. They're not winning
yeah,
shit.
yeah, because the quarterback play. And see, and for me, and I'll
Overall,
say
the
this
offensive
on,
play, right? That's the way I felt about it early
yeah,
on, right?
and I'll say this here, like I like what I saw out of Arch Manning the end of the year, and I think Arch Manning is going to be
He
perfectly
was
fine.
really
I've
good.
always
He
said
was
he's going
really
to be
good.
perfectly fine. I think the kid is going to be a stud. He's going to be fine.
Yeah.
And if we're good or not comes down to Arch Manning, we have failed. So because we're supposed to be better than that. So that's all I'm saying.
Right,
Like
they should have done enough. Now, somebody asked earlier in there about did they do enough aside because like they felt like I think it was Trojan Fight saying Rayleigh Brown and Hollywood are the same. Did they get somebody that's more of a bruiser back? Tell me, I know his name, but it's missing me right now. The
you talking
young
about
guy.
Derek Cooper?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And they
think
love him,
Texas,
right? They love him right now. He's
they
been
have
playing
what they
very
need.
well.
And I always tell people too is anytime you assess Texas, you have to remember what kind of offense Sark runs because it's not your
He's always gonna have a Lindell White.
everyday. Right.
Always.
It's like
Yeah.
like a lot of, catching out of the backfield, a lot of, mixing up, changing things, like a lot of, so we don't run a typical hand off the ball, go up the middle, go to the right. It's like he's starting on the right, he's moving to the left. Now he's like, so the offense is a little bit more dynamic, and that's why we need more dynamic players. And so, yeah, I'm not worried about who we have in the running back room. They just need to figure it out. They need to figure it out. When Sark had Sark had Bijan Robinson, okay? Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Brooks. I'm talking about college Bijan, college Jonathan Brooks, he knows how to do this. He knows how to do this. So he's just got to do it.
I think he underachieved with Bijan and Roschon. Oy.
Well, yeah, but oh my God, but do you remember that defense? We couldn't stop a nosebleed.
True.
Do you remember them? They were so bad.
Yeah, I do.
Remember? They were so bad. I think they were like 100 and like
a bunch of games. That was
23.
still when they were losing second half games a lot.
They
went
were like
to Oklahoma State,
123.
winning by 10 at the end of the third, towards the end of the third, and lose by multiple times. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah. Well, what's funny about that defense
Not
is
giving
that
the ball
defense,
to Roschon and Bijan at the end of that game.
Now that's fair.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
that's fair. But that defense, those guys that were on that defense just left this year. Isn't that cool to think about that? Because they were all freshmen. So some of them were freshmen, some of them were sophomores. They just left. So
Yeah,
anyways, I just always think it's cool, like the circle of these athletes, how it's like, oh. And now you're out. Next batch. So
I think it's going to be a fun season of college football. There's a lot of really good teams. I don't know who I don't know who I favor to do it. I feel like Oklahoma's good enough to win. I know that Ohio State is. I know that Georgia is. I think that LSU could be. I mean, we need to see that because we haven't seen Lane Kiffin really win anything, but he also hasn't had. I don't know that you can bring it together that quickly, no matter how much they spent. And they're not the only ones that spent like that either. So I think it's tough. But I don't think that. I think it's fair to pressure on him. For him to have that pressure, I think it's plenty fair. I would also, again, Ole Miss is in that hunt. You look at Oregon; they're loaded, right? Indiana, again, they went out there and spent a lot of money. And Miami. I like Miami a ton. But we're talking about these are teams that I believe could win it.
Yeah.
Right. All those teams that I just said, I believe they could win the thing.
Yeah, and I've been obviously not obviously, but I'm running my NFL fan series, so I've been so
Notre
bogged
Dame
down
as
with
well.
like
I
NFL.
think Notre Dame is the best team. So go ahead.
And I don't know. I haven't had time to like analyze everybody's schedules. Like I like to really kind of look at it and see who plays who's the bye weeks. Like what does it really feel like? So I don't have a good grasp on things yet. But I will say that I do believe that although I'm annoyed and I do think the commissioner of the SEC failed the football teams. I do think whoever comes out of the SEC, I do think this schedule is going to make them better. And they are going to be probably some of the most battle-tested teams out there just because they will have had to. I mean, you're playing in that extra game, and that extra game
makes it harder on everyone, no matter what.
Makes it harder on everyone. So that extra like little bye week or you know what, but somebody's going to be in the SEC championship game. So I don't know. So that's the only positive that might come out of that. But I don't know. I'm just excited to see. I'm excited to see. How many days did you say?
I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
How many days
I'm excited. I'm excited for it. I can't wait to get after it and kind of see what happens. And, you know, we're going to have fun with it either way. I know that we'll have fun for Red River and everything in between, but it's going to be fun. All right. Well, tell everybody, listen,
I'm not coming on. I will not go on anyone's show. Let me just make this very abundantly clear. I'm not going on anyone's show ever to attack, debate, or go against Jason. Like, we're not doing that. I don't care if Texas plays 9 times. I'm not going on anyone's show to disparage, to argue with, or to get into it with Jason about Oklahoma. Okay? So stop asking. It's not happening. No. And I wouldn't do that for anybody. Let me just be like, I'm not doing it for anyone's team. Like, I don't do that. So I'm just calling that out.
So there's a lot of creators on both sides of the Red River that their realities don't matter to them, right? You know, but I think between us, we'll tell the truth about our teams. So I think that's why we're good.
Yeah.
We'll tell the truth about what we think, right?
Well, and the only way I would do it, and I've said this to you before, is if I get to talk about how great Oklahoma is and how they can beat Texas, and then you get to talk about how great Texas is and how they can beat Oklahoma, because
they make me throw up.
But that's the only thing that makes it interesting, because then we're saying things that the other you know what I'm saying? Like, we're evaluating each other's teams in a different way.
I think we evaluate each other anyway, so I don't necessarily have a problem with that. Right.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, I just need it to be known, like, I'm not going on anybody's show to ever disparage the Oklahoma Sooners with Jason. Like, it's not happening. So stop asking. Don't DM me. Don't ask me. Don't send me any emails. The answer is no. So I'm not doing that. But anyways.
I mean, and that's just, I mean, we have a different relationship than that. We're cool.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. So
there's plenty of other people that I can do that with. And, you know,
we're not doing it.
And it's all good.
I mean, yeah, it takes a lot to get a rise out of me anyway. So even if I did do it, people would be like, that was so boring. Like,
I'm telling you, whenever you start, like, when I say something ugly about Texas and you like either agree or you're like,
that could be
I'm
true.
like, what the fuck?
Because it might be true.
Like, get a rise out of her. What the hell is this?
Yeah, I'm like, last year you were like, yeah, we're gonna beat them. They're not even gonna score. I'm like, I mean, the way we've been looking, I mean, that's true. Like, I could see it. Like, maybe, you know, like, we did look awful.
Should have beat them. I'll say it again. Yeah. There's no way Oklahoma shouldn't win that game.
I'm gonna leave that where it's at.
But those things happen though too. But we've also seen that happen in that game, where I remember the Charlie Strong team that beat Baker and them. It should never have happened. It did.
But what did I always tell you? I always say the better team usually loses that game.
Sometimes they do.
It just so happened for us that I think that game helped us kind of get a little bit of stability. And then we almost lost to Kentucky. It's like we kind of
super important for Texas to win.
Yeah, it kind of kicked us
to bounce back the way that they did.
Yeah, right? But anyways, it's always fun to be able to talk to you about this. So my life is a mess, and it's in a positive way. I say that people are like, "Is everything okay?" Everything's fine. I just have 900 things going on.
Always.
But I appreciate chatting with you. Really flawed Deanna's cook though. Okay, like cool. Like, what do you want me to say? It's June.
Can't really argue about that, right?
You might be right. Like, you might be wrong. Like, and if you're wrong, are you going to show it back up and tell me you were wrong? Absolutely not. So that's why I always say I'm not emotionally connected to any of this, because when my teams are doing good, I see no one.
If you guys have watched her show much, you know that she's been cooking Dion for a year.
That's why I'm like, yeah, and
cooking it.
I'll leave that where it's at. But I was proud of him. I'm proud. He's recruiting high school talent. Did you see that?
I've been seeing that. Yes, I have been seeing that.
We might be turning.
I saw you and Dave. You, Dave. My guy, Dave. I love Dave from David Talks Sports.
Oh, yeah.
Talks Buffs, and now it's Broncos too, and all that. I know you guys both do a lot of that stuff too.
Yeah,
but
we're NFL.
I think he's one of my guys, man. I love Dave. He's my dude.
You know what? I've asked myself, like, I think the reason why I don't get so emotionally invested so much, because college football is emotional. Like, I don't
Oh,
care what
true.
anybody says. College football is so emotional, but I think it's because I'm such an NFL fan. I think it saves my emotions because
Sure.
the NFL is not as emotional. Like it doesn't. It's
I'm
not like that.
emotional about certain games when it comes to Oklahoma, but I'm also pragmatic about it because of being a sports writer. I mean, and you detach yourself from your
Yeah,
fandom. I can do that. I don't like it when Oklahoma loses. I'll just be real
yeah,
with
that's
you.
fair.
But I also don't have a problem saying what's reality in my mind, right? It's why I don't mind saying what we said tonight about
Yeah,
the CFP expansion, Texas Tech for that matter. I used to cover Tech. I don't hate the people in Lubbock. I don't love what they're talking about right now. I hate what they're doing with the Brendan Sorsby thing, and I think they're full of shit.
I
But
think.
that doesn't mean that I hate them. I think that what they're doing right now is wrong when it comes to Sorsby, and I don't love anything and it's whether it's Saban or anybody else. I mean, there's people that come in here and complain about the portal and the NIL, and I am not hearing it.
Yeah,
I'm not hearing it.
I don't
I'm always that
understand
way.
it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm going to be on the side of the athlete in this deal because
always. I'm always
always
team athlete.
because they didn't make any of the rules and they don't have the power to do so. And until they do, I'm not blaming them.
I am team get that money.
Yeah, me too.
Always. I want everybody to pay them. I don't care if you come to Texas and your worth is 2 million. I make Texas give you 2.5. Like, get the
Sure.
money. Like, get the money. Okay.
Get the money. Hey, yeah.
Dude,
Hey, to get
what did that
everything you
just say?
can.
I couldn't see it.
Oh, I like really flawed, but I ain't singing praises for Texas. So if you're in Texas. You know I ain't doing
Okay.
a ton of singing praises for him either.
No,
But
it's okay.
I can
Yeah.
talk reality and say that I don't think that Texas is gonna suck. Right?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
not what I
and
think.
there's nobody like I feel like not all of us are able to be hypercritical about our teams. Like I can look at Texas. I mean, you've seen my videos. I can look at Texas and be like, "What the fuck was that? What
Oh
was
yeah.
that? All of it."
Oh,
Please, somebody call me right
after
now
the
and tell me
Arizona
what
State
that
game 2
was.
years ago, I was freaked. I was like, "Woo, she
Tell
cooked
me
them." And they
what
won.
that was. Like, what is it? And
Mhm.
so for me, I love that. And I love when people watch my team, they can give me really good feedback because sometimes people will be like, I think we were kind of harsh on them. I think they're going to be okay. And sometimes people are like, nah, I saw what you saw. And I'm like, okay, because
Fair.
I am hard. I know this. I'm hard on the University of Texas.
Oh, yeah, I pissed
I
a lot of Oklahoma
expect,
fans off last
I
year at the end of the
expect
season
them
when
to
they were
do certain
winning, and I was
things.
like, "This ain't good."
Yeah, the penalties, the lack of discipline, I will always comment on it. I think it's unacceptable, and that's just how I'm going to be. But those are my babies, so I love them,
You're rough
and
on Sark. You're always in Sark's grill.
I'm always on Sark. And you know what? If Sark ever wanted to come talk to me, you know what I would do? I would be like, Coach Sark, I have some questions because I've been hard on you, and I actually am just curious. Like I'm actually curious. Like, what do you think?
I think he does a pretty good job of handling tough questions, though. I don't
Sometimes though, I call it the media because they're like softballs. I'm like, you guys, he's not going to kick you
right.
out.
I think that by and large, the Austin media doesn't hold his feet to the fire very much.
on.
The SEC media will.
Yeah, I'm like, ask the
The
question.
greater SEC media will, and he's pretty good at handling it. I thought he was good about
I
it.
don't.
The year that they won the Big 12 at the end of when I went to
We
Big
left.
12 media days, and he stood up there, and the first thing before anybody could ask him, he was like, I look at this team and see my team and the expectation is we should win this conference and go to the playoff.
Yeah, and I
We
listen.
should
I
compete for the
like.
national championship. He said that, and
Yeah.
both
And
me
I
and
like
Coach
Coach
Rosenthal were like, good for him.
You really believes it. Yeah.
He-
No, and that's the thing. I always tell
you
people.
didn't have to say it, but he did.
And I'm old school. If I'm not
I
hard on
definitely
you,
think
I
he's
don't
making an
like you.
excuse for this year because I think that he's concerned that he's not going to make the playoff this year. But I half understand it because again,
See, I don't see it
He
that
didn't
way.
lie about
Do you
Tech. He
remember
didn't
when
lie.
But do you remember when that man came out and was like, "This is the best roster I've ever had. We're solid here. We're solid here. We're solid here." I don't think you make that statement and then come out and like try to give yourself an excuse. I think he was trying to say, "Y'all
He's
need to do
tamping
this right."
expectations at least a little bit. But
Oh, I don't think so.
I don't even
Especially not
necessarily
because of
blame
some of
him
the
though.
things
But
I hear him
I'm just
say.
saying I don't necessarily blame. I think there's going to be a good team or three that won't make the playoff, and
Yeah, we'll see.
I think that's what he's trying to say, and that's okay.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We don't really know. Unless I got to talk to him. I don't live in his head, so I don't get to speak for him. But
Yeah, but
listen, I'm glad that Coach Sark.
we're supposed to speculate. Come on.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying like I can't disagree or agree with you because I don't know. But you're making a valid point. That's why. That's all I'm saying. Is like you could be right. So I don't want to be like no because I mean you could be right. So
I think most coaches do that though. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I think other coaches go further beyond. Like Lincoln Riley's an excuse maker. End of story. Right?
I will be honest. I usually don't
Matt
listen
Rule,
to.
excuse
I
maker.
only
End of
listen to
story.
my coach in the off season. I don't listen to any of these other. Like I only listen to, and let me clarify. I only listen to Coach Sark in the off season. That's it. Like even when like Coach Tomlin was my coach for the Steelers, I didn't listen to him either. Like there's only certain coaches I will listen to in the off season. I'm sure the people in Lubbock are fine, but well. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Well, no comment there. But anyways, well, yeah. So what you were asking me? Oh, you were asking. So my channel, is that what you were asking me?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's because we're
rudely-
gonna get out of here. So I was just tell everybody how to find you and what you got coming up.
Yeah. I don't know how to find me. Let me know when you find me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah. So my channel is Really Flawed Football. Anywhere you can find me. And I'm really flawed everywhere. So I'm really flawed on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I'm very active on Instagram. It's a lot of fun. It is like my little pet project. I love Instagram so much. And I get to be myself there too. I get to post whatever I want and I get to like do it my way. And I feel like Instagram is like I always say Instagram is like my friends and hangout. Instagram is my hangout. YouTube is where I go to work. Like that's kind of how I like differentiate. Because YouTube is like, it's like long form and it's like very much it's structured. I know kind of what I want to say, On Instagram, I'm like, what the fuck was that? Did y'all see that? Like, so it's a little bit of a balance.
I love watching you no matter where you are. I think you're hilarious.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
You'll be outside and you'll be like, did y'all see that?
Oh,
it's like squirrel.
Yeah, that's for my members. Yeah. I always say if you really want to know who I actually am, you have to become a member somewhere because you will get the real me. It's uncut, it's raw, it is what it is. Like whatever comes out, and I do not edit it unless my body comes out. But that's a whole different conversation. But so Really Flawed everywhere. And I'm a Texas fan. I'm a Colorado fan. I'm a huge NFL fan. I'm running an NFL Fear and Series. So if you like the NFL, you might like
ask her
some
about
of the videos.
Mike McCarthy instead of Mike Tomlin. It'll get a rise out of her.
I'm triggered. This is my triggered face.
That's what I was working on.
I don't love it.
I had to do something.
I don't love it right now. I will be fine by the time the season starts. Right now, it's just a little weird. It's just weird. I don't know how else to do this. It's just I need a preseason game to kick it out of my system.
My
and
mom's a Steelers fan, weird. So I'm saying that, and she's back here going.
It's just weird. Yeah, it's just weird. It is weird. But no, I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate you always being kind and respectful, and I appreciate you inviting me, and I appreciate you tolerating my Texas fandom.
Yeah. We like you. We like you, so it's all good. Other people, they don't get the same treatment. You're cool.
No, but seriously, I appreciate you.
For coming on. No, really, I appreciate you coming on too. And I, listen, I respect your takes on what's going on. I know it's going to be real coming from you. There's not going to be just a bunch of fluff. You're going to give me a reason why you think what you think. So, and I respect that. So.
Yeah. Well, I respect that from you too. But no, seriously, thank you. And we'll find a way to do it again. Who knows what series I have cooking in my brain? Because you know how I like to do things.
I already know something's coming up. I'm sure. Yeah. It'll be soon.
It's toasting right now in my brain. I have like 3 thoughts. I need to work through them, and it's coming. I just need to think it through.
Let me know, man. I'll be ready. You know I'm always ready.
All right, I got you.
I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for coming in. Guys, make sure you get over to Really Flawed Football right here on YouTube. Go find her on Instagram. If you guys are Instagram people and you're not following her on Instagram, you're missing out. You're definitely missing out.
There might be some really sexy things over there too.
There might be. Yeah. There's different. It's definitely different than her channel on YouTube.
Everyone's like, show me more. I'm like, go to Instagram.
Yeah, I love it. I sit there and watch Instagram. I'm like, whoa.
Go over there. Just go scroll. You'll be fine.
A little different. Yeah.
That's what I said. It's my play space. Yeah.
Have fun. Thanks a lot for coming in, hon.
Of course.
All right, guys. We appreciate Really Flawed for coming in, spending some time with us on this. Thank you guys for coming in on the show. I'm just going to finish off my final verdict on here. Look, this college football, the deal that Senator Cruz and and the other one, I forget her name. It doesn't even matter. Stop listening to it as if it's something good. It isn't anything good for you. And no matter if you're hearing it from Nick Saban, who is still the GOAT, even though he's being a hypocrite right now, or you're hearing it from Cody Campbell, or you're hearing it from these people that think they deserve a spot in the playoff, it doesn't mean that you need to do this. And this is going to fail. It should fail in Congress. And if you want stability, all you really have to do is give these athletes collective bargaining. Until you do that, nothing's going to be stable. Anything that you do is going to be a Band-Aid on a flesh wound. That's it. Trying to stop a leaky dam with your finger. That's the way I feel about it. So that's what I wanted to say. For decades, everybody else in college football chased the money. Coaches chased it. The conferences, the schools, they've all been chasing it. Now it's wrong if some of these players are doing the same thing because they're not all getting the same amount of money. You're talking about a small percentage that are getting paid these large amounts of money, right? And they deserve it too because they generate that money. So at the end of the day, I'm okay with the way things are. I appreciate that. I would appreciate some more structure to college football just like anybody else would. But I would tell you that structure should be collectively bargained. And you don't need 24 teams in the playoff. We already know that. That's why we're doing this as the top 12 plus all the time. You don't need 24 teams. We're going to continue to rank it this way. And hopefully the right people continue doing the right things and keeping it where it is. I appreciate everybody coming in here and spending some time with us tonight. If you haven't hit that like button, please hit the like button. Subscribe. We're almost to 5,000. Still almost to 5,000. Kills me to say. But please, it helps us a ton if you just hit that like button and share it around with other people that you know love college football. We do this all the time. Appreciate you guys coming in. We'll be back tomorrow night on Sooner Intel. See you on the next one. We'll see you on the next one.